welcome. Can we everybody in the room just give us a hand right now? Let's celebrate. We're here one more time. Listen, I am so thank you, man. I appreciate it. Listen, I'm so excited to be here. Just thank you to everybody that's here tuning in from wherever you are, those that are in here in the room. I'm excited to be here, y'all. My name is Joel Reed. I'm the executive director here at Soundcheck. And joining me, y'all, I've got to get this right. We've got a very, very special guest, and I'm so excited because none other than Desarae D is in the house. Desarae, how are you doing?
I'm good. Joel, how are you?
Man, listen, Desarae, we were talking just a little bit earlier. I am excited. I'm so happy to be here, and we are in for a treat today. Is that right?
Yes, you guys are.
Listen, I'm so excited. And Desarae, I want to just tell folks a little bit about you because I was reading through the bio and I'm like, yo, shoot, big ups to you, man, and everything you've done. We definitely got the right person in the room here, y'all. So just want to really quick tell us a little bit about Desarae. She has been endorsed by Hammond Organ, endorsed by Yamaha, endorsed by Juicy Ears.
Yeah.
And joining us, there's all kinds of performances you've done, Desarae. I know you've won awards. You've been all over the world. You've been touring. You've been releasing your own original music. But today, you're here to break it all down for us. And we're going to be talking about artist endorsements.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about how and what to do. What's this influencing thing all about? Diving in and diving deeper. And I just cannot wait. Let's give it up one more time for Desarae, y'all. Let's just celebrate Desarae in the room. And Desarae, tell me, because I always ask this question. It's always the first question.
Yeah.
How did you get to be in this seat today? I know it's a long question, but it's a journey. Is that right? Like it didn't just kind of happen overnight.
No.
The tours, the album releases, the singles, the this, the that. It took some time. So talk to us.
Okay, so my journey, I got to go from the beginning because everything starts at the beginning. And
Always.
You won't understand my journey unless I tell you from the very beginning.
Awesome.
So I come from a Jamaican household. Both my parents, my dad really was the musician in the house, and he wanted one of his children, because I have a younger brother,
Right.
And he wanted one of us to continue this music thing because
Yeah.
my dad used to sing with a group called the Soul Searchers back in the 80s.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they would
Okay.
travel to different churches, actually, and perform.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, they're all still friends to this day.
All right,
so
that's what's up.
which is nice. And so he sang and he played bass and played guitar. So I guess when I was really young, I think I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, they noticed that I had a musical talent.
Wow.
But I was too young for lessons. So they waited until I was 6 years old to put me in
Got you.
formal lessons.
Got you.
And I was taking lessons from a lady at church. And I was with her for a couple of years before she went off to university.
Wow.
Because she was in high school when she taught me.
Right.
And then my parents put me in a music school, Alexander Music Studio. So if you
Amazing.
live in Durham region and you know about Alexander Music
Okay,
Studio,
shout out to them.
they're still in operation.
Big ups,
to this
man.
day.
Alexander, all right. So like from that young
From
age.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I was about 8.5 at the time.
Wow.
And I remember my first teacher there was this tall, nerdy guy. And my first lesson with him, he gave me a piece of sheet music and he said, "Here you go, play it."
Wow.
And I just sat there for the entire lesson. I didn't play the piano. I sat there.
Right.
He's like, "Are you going to play?" I'm like,
You just looked at him, yeah.
I just stared at him. I was
because-
like,
okay, right.
But also, it's like growing up in the 90s, there was no representation of black people teaching
Right.
music, right?
Right.
Especially women.
Right.
So I felt awkward because my first ever teacher was black.
Right.
So going into a music school full of Caucasian people, and
right.
I'm now going from having a black person that I was used to
Right.
to now having
right.
to be taught by
Right,
somebody who doesn't
got
really
you.
understand me
Okay.
on that level.
Gotcha.
And I remember at the end of the lesson, he was speaking to my dad, and he told my dad, and I will never forget this. He said to my dad, "I don't think your daughter is cut out for music. Maybe you should get her to do something else."
Hold up. What? The music teacher said
Yeah.
this?
Yep. He said,
The person whose job it is to teach you and to make sure
Yep.
that you're along and coming on your way
Yep.
said shut it down. It's not
he
going
literally
anywhere.
said to my dad, I don't think this is for her. Maybe you should put her in something else. And my dad's like,
Are
what are
you
you
kidding
talking
me?
about? My dad said, we need to get rid of this guy.
Wow.
So I got a different teacher the following week, some older lady. And then that didn't work out, so we got somebody else.
Right,
And that
right,
didn't work.
right.
And I guess my parents were getting frustrated. I was getting frustrated. And I
Right.
was like, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. My mom's like, nope,
Right.
we're going to keep doing this. Cause
And you're still
Yeah.
young at this age, right?
Yeah.
Like this is at, you said
I was eight
8?
years old, yeah.
See, I never understood that. Like, how do you look at an 8-year-old who has the potential to really be any and everything they put themselves to? How do you just? That's terrible, man.
I guess it was the culture back then.
But
right?
look at where you are now.
I know.
And look at where you are today. What if? Shout out to your parents for not following that terrible advice.
Listen.
You
Shout
know,
out to them for real. But you know what? What really changed it for me was my dad took me to lessons, and I was with a different teacher. And he saw this black lady at the school, and he went up to her and said, do you teach here? And she's like, yes, I do.
Right.
She's like, I want to put my daughter with you. And I was already with a different teacher
But
at that
we're
time.
finna-
But my
yeah.
dad's like, oh, no. Oh,
Yep.
we see somebody that looks like
Okay,
us.
okay,
Right?
right.
And I remember my first lesson, I cried because I was so frustrated. And I will never forget, she asked me, she's like, how are you doing? Are you okay? That was the
Right.
first time a teacher has ever asked me how I was doing. So it wasn't
Right.
just about learning, but
Right.
it was like you wanted to make a personal connection with me.
Got
You wanted
you.
to build a relationship with
Got
me.
you, right.
And I feel as an educator, it's so important
Absolutely.
to build a connection with your student. It's not just about learning this instrument, learning how to play it, and having the knowledge, but it's also building a connection.
Absolutely, 100%. Couldn't agree more. And
Yeah.
and tell me this, Desiree, because like even in hearing your story, like you could have been discouraged so many, way back then. I'm sure it must have been so tough. You just shared that, but like the fact that you just pursued and persevered and kept going, and now to see where you are today and the type of success you've been having, man, that must be like, it must feel amazing, like when you reflect back.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, it was a journey. I'll tell you that because I really didn't start enjoying music until I was in high school, believe it
Right.
or not, because, that first part of my life was tough. And,
Got you.
I'm grateful for my parents for not giving up
Right.
and really seeing it through
Right.
because if they believe in me, then somehow I'm going to believe in myself.
Got you.
And when I got to high school, that's where I really thrived in music. I was in the music room every day.
Love that,
I was
yeah.
playing. The kids would come and ask for song requests.
Right.
Alicia Keys was a huge influence
Okay,
to me
right.
because, again, who has ever seen a black woman
Right.
pursue an
Playing-
instrument
yeah.
professionally?
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, aside from the fact that she sings,
Right.
she was like my example of a black woman playing the keys. And I'm like,
right.
oh my God, I want to be just like her. I
Gotcha.
want to be up there on the big stages and playing and releasing my own music and
Right.
whatnot, right? So I remember when I was applying to university and I went to my guidance counselor, and my guidance counselor said, Desiree, when you go to university, do something that you love. Because there's so many times people will go to post-secondary studies
Right.
and do something just because their parents said they have to do it.
Right,
Or this is what looks good
It looks
for the
good.
culture. This is what
Right,
looks good.
right,
you
right,
have to be a
right.
doctor. You have to be a
Right.
lawyer. You have to
Got
be a
you.
teacher because that's what
Right.
looks good to the culture.
Got
So if you
you.
do anything else that's not that, then
What are you doing?
what are you doing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I just knew deep down that I had to keep doing this music thing.
Gotcha.
So I applied, went to York University, got my music degree. I finished it in 3 years, and it was a
Wow.
4-year degree.
Man, let's go. Big up yourself, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, but you know what?
Fast track direct.
You know what? I didn't go away during the summer, so I
Yeah.
said, why not?
Yeah,
Let me
why
just
not?
keep doing some school.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
if I
yeah.
finish early, I finish early. If I don't, I don't. It's not even that
Amazing,
serious, right?
Amazing, yeah.
And from there, I met some amazing people
Right.
at York University. Thomas Francis
Okay.
was somebody that I met when I was there.
Awesome.
And he told me about Robert Glasper.
That was a big connect right there.
Yeah, because I didn't learn much jazz in high school. I
Okay, got
actually
you.
just, being in church and playing,
Yeah.
keys, playing
Yeah.
as a teenager.
Right.
The most we did with jazz was a 12-bar blues.
Right. Okay.
That's all we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it wasn't until I got to universities when I really got to deep
Get
dive
in.
into like jazz theory, jazz musicianship,
Got you.
extensions, all of that stuff.
Got you.
And I actually found out while I was in university I had perfect pitch. So it's
Amazing.
like I went through, my lesson journey, stopped taking lessons when I got to university, found out I had perfect pitch, and I was like, what's
So
this?
let me just, because I know some folks are joining online, some
Yeah.
folks are here. Perfect pitch, for those that may not know, what is that? just quickly, because I know not everybody.
Perfect pitch is when you can like actually hear the sound before it's being played.
Amazing.
So you can like hum it out, you can hear it,
Is that
Yeah.
annoying? Like, is it like if the note is off, does it kind of bother you or a little
Yeah,
bit?
so it's crazy because for years I thought I was a visual learner, and I realized I was an auditory learner.
Right.
So when I hear people like play, I can tell right off the bat if it's off
Right.
or if it's out of tune.
Right. Right.
And
right.
it is annoying to a certain extent, but
Okay.
also like I see it as a good thing. I have a friend who also has perfect pitch, and he
Right.
tunes pianos using his ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
You must like a lot of guitar players and bass players who aren't into it all the time, right? Anyway, that's another.
Yeah, that's
story.
a story for another day.
But listen, Desarae, thanks so much for that wonderful introduction.
No problem.
So we got a sense of your music journey and just the ups and downs and how you've really just a story of triumph. But I know today the folks are just so excited to get in on our topic today.
Yeah.
Artist endorsements, brand deals, and influencing. And I know, Desarae, it's interesting because you talked about your journey. It wasn't like a linear path, but somehow on that journey, here you are doing all of these things, and you're going to be breaking it down. I heard there's a slideshow, I'm told.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of information. So, yeah, like, you ready to jump in?
Yeah,
Let's
of course.
do it.
Absolutely.
I love it, y'all. So let's do it. So I know we'll get this screen up on the board for y'all today. But maybe I'll start like this, Desarae, because like when you think of yourself, do you think of yourself as like we're living in the age of social media, we're living in the age of digital technology, and like how do you see yourself within that? Because it's kind of like I know for some people they may see themselves more as a musician, more on the influencer side. Talk to us a little bit about that dichotomy.
Well, you know what? I wear a lot of hats. So, one day I'm a musician, one day I'm a producer, one day I'm a content creator, one day I'm a teacher.
Right.
I kind of see myself as a chameleon. Like, that's how I describe myself, because people ask me, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm a chameleon. I do multiple things, right? So I don't always have my influencer hat on all the time. I don't always have my content creator hat on all the time. Sometimes I'm a musician, sometimes I'm a composer, sometimes I'm producing, sometimes I'm teaching. So it's kind of, multifaceted.
Got you.
And I find that in music, and when I first even came into the industry, I said to myself that I wanted to be different.
Right.
I wanted to sound different. I wanted to play different. I wanted to move different.
Right.
And you have to differentiate yourself, especially when it comes to music, because there's so many people in the musical scope.
Absolutely.
Who are, I guess you could say, like everybody's trying to compete for different things. But I've come to realize that there is room for everybody at the table.
Absolutely.
So you can't really see it as a competition, because there's so much opportunities for everybody.
Absolutely.
But when you solely focus on just the performance aspect, and you're just tunnel vision for performance, then I guess people can say there's competition there, because people are trying to play with the biggest artists, and they're trying to get on this gig, and they're trying to get this show and be on this festival. But what people fail to realize is music is much bigger than just the performance, right? There's so many facets to music.
Absolutely.
So yes, you can perform, but you can also do things on social media. You can teach. You can sell courses. You can do workshops like what we're doing today. You can do master classes. There's so much with music. You can produce.
Got you.
You can compose.
Absolutely.
So it's not just, I think that because the performance arena of music is so saturated, that's like the first thing that people gravitate to. When they hear music, it's like, oh, I want to play for the biggest artist. I want to get on the shows. I want to get on the gigs.
And in doing that, it's like you're putting yourself in a box a little bit, right?
Exactly.
Because you're not, seeing all of the opportunities that are out there, right?
Absolutely. And we saw it with COVID-19, right? Because the performance side of music is so saturated. When COVID-19 happened, gone. So what if we were to have another pandemic? What are you going to do outside of just being a performer?
Right.
You're a musician. What else do you do?
Right.
Because there could be another pandemic and they shut down music again.
Right.
So what are you going to do outside of performance? So, and that's where you kind of have to be multifaceted.
Got you.
Right? You have to figure out, okay, what else can I do outside of playing my instrument?
Right.
Right? I can teach, create courses, figure out this content creation thing. I can produce because people are still producing remotely.
True.
Right? You can see that
it's
a lot.
Even expanded, right?
Yeah, and people aren't really going into studios anymore.
Right.
Like I know for myself,
yeah,
I've always been doing production remotely. Yeah. I've never really had to go into a studio because everybody has their own setup.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So if you're a musician and you're coming into this music scene, that's one of the things you should have, a setup.
Right.
Have your setup. Have your keyboard.
And break that down real quick. Yeah. Like you're just for the folks, because I know some folks are online, some folks are here. Maybe they're trying to how do I get started? Like just maybe real quick, like what kind of simple, easy,
so computer-wise, MacBook.
Okay.
Right. You have to really invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And you might have to just bite the bullet and just buy it. But honestly, most DAWs work the best on MacBooks. Right. So get yourself a computer. Right. Get yourself a MIDI keyboard. Even if you can't afford an actual top of the line keyboard, you can get an M Audio or a Novation. Right.
Even online sometimes, Kijiji, some of these websites,
Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji. Yep. You can go to your local music store and do a rent-to-own program. Right. If you don't have $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to spend on an instrument right away, you can do a rent-to-own program and then finance it out. Right. Awesome. That. And then you need a DAW. So if you're not sure what a DAW is a digital audio workstation. Right. And there's plenty. Yep. There's Fruity Loops. There's Logic Pro 10. Ableton. There's Ableton. Cubase.
Yep. All of that.
There's so many of them. I personally use Logic Pro. And when you get a MacBook, it comes with GarageBand. Mm-hmm. And GarageBand for free, exactly, right? Yep. GarageBand and Logic Pro are the same. It's just Logic Pro is the more updated version of GarageBand. But if you're getting started, you can still use GarageBand.
Absolutely.
That's how I started producing.
No shame in
Before there was a Logic and an Ableton, I was using GarageBand.
Come on, making music same
As
way.
a matter of fact, most of my catalog was created in GarageBand.
Big up yourself. Y'all hear that? Listen. I'm gonna stick a pin there because like sometimes people think you need the latest, fanciest, newest gadgets and whatever. Like you essentially established yourself, started releasing music, your singles, and that was just using a basic free software. So y'all are hearing it right there, man. Work with what you got and make the most of it.
Work with what you got, and eventually you can add on those pieces.
Absolutely.
Like we're not expecting you to have the top of the line gear because you really don't need the top of the line gear to start.
Absolutely.
Right? I just had my computer, my DAW, and my piano. I figured out how to connect it MIDI. I figured out how to connect it so that the actual sounds in the piano were actually going through.
Right.
And if you don't know how to do that, you need an interface.
Yeah.
So you can get a Focusrite interface. That's probably the most popular one.
Scarlett.
Yeah. Right? And when you're plugging your piano and you want the actual sounds from your piano, you're going to need patch cords, right? Yep. So plug in left and right, plug that into the interface, and your interface will go into the computer USB. And then connect it into your DAW, and you can get the actual sounds from your piano.
Recording.
Exactly, as opposed to going MIDI and using the stock sounds, because sometimes the stock sounds are not the greatest.
There you go. So y'all have, man, we're going to be talking about artist endorsements, but we're getting a little bit of sound and some early production 101. So y'all, this is great. I love it. Yeah. But yeah, Desarae, I think they were able to grab your slideshow.
Okay,
so yeah,
amazing.
Feel free to go. Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds good. All right, let's go to the first slide. before we even, dive deep into, artist endorsements and brand deals and
Right.
influencing, you have to know what these things are,
Right.
right? So, influencer, like you hear that term all the time, and people are like,
Right.
well, what's an influencer? So I had to go do some dictionary digging,
All right.
right? But basically, an influencer is someone who exerts influence, right? Like
Right.
you inspire, you guide people, you
Yup.
teach people, right? And then people are learning from you, right?
Interesting.
So when you're on social media, you're getting viewed by so many different people, and they want to know, okay, oh, what is she doing,
Yeah. Right.
right?
Right.
What does she have going on? How can my content inspire? How can my content guide other people?
Right. Right.
Right? I'm a musician. There's so many different things that you can do on social media.
Right.
Number one, if you're a musician, you can post videos of yourself playing your
Playing.
instrument,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
right?
pretty. Yeah.
So a lot of people do covers.
Right.
That's how I started. So I got Instagram, which is probably the most popular outside of TikTok.
Yeah.
I got Instagram in 2013.
Okay.
And this was after being on Facebook since 2007,
Right.
since its inception,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one thing I hated was posting videos of myself. I really didn't like it. I didn't like the way I sounded, but I understood that if I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to have to come out
Get
of my
used to it.
comfort zone
Yup.
and record myself.
Right.
I didn't care how I sounded, if there was mistakes, whatever, I still posted it anyways.
Right.
And I would post on my page.
Right.
And then what I also did was, while I was on Facebook, I would post in different groups as well. So if I was a part of different groups, I would post my video. I would share my video that I posted on my page into these groups.
Got you. So y'all, that's free game right there,
Yeah.
y'all. So like you didn't just wait for the algorithm to
Nope.
put you on. You went out and said, "Oh,
Yeah.
music group here,
Yeah.
copy. Yep,
Yeah.
y'all check this out. Y'all see." And you went out there.
I didn't even know much about this algorithm
Right.
business until I really deep dived into Instagram, and
Got
people
you.
would talk about the algorithm. But
Right.
I remember I got my start on Facebook. So I
Gotcha.
had to use Facebook and leverage it in a way so that people would see my stuff.
Right.
So if I'm going to post it on my page, how else can I get this to reach people? If I'm a part of these groups, share it,
Right.
right? And that's how I got noticed.
Got you.
And then when Instagram came out, I was like, okay, I guess I got to hop on the Instagram
yeah,
train
the
too.
new wave, yup.
The new wave, right? So I was on there and I posted covers. I was still doing covers.
Right.
And because I was kind of like in this Robert Glasper phase where I was like learning his stuff,
Right.
I would post covers of his songs
Got
on
you.
my page. And then I got a message from somebody in my inbox and they're like, hey, can you cover this song?
Right.
Can you cover this song?
Okay.
And I was like,
okay.
oh, people are asking
Right. Yeah.
to
yeah,
cover
yeah.
stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. So I would take the cover request and, come up with my own way of, playing that song and post it.
Got you.
And that actually turned into a music series called Cover Tuesdays.
Wow.
So for people who've been following me since 2013,
Wow.
remember Cover Tuesdays.
Got you.
And basically Cover Tuesdays was a creative series that I came up with where I posted a cover on Tuesdays.
Got you.
Every Tuesday, I posted a cover.
Wow. And how long did you do that?
4.5 years.
Okay, y'all. Hold on. Say that again.
So I posted a cover on Instagram every Tuesday for 4.5 years.
Okay, y'all. We got to stick a pin. So let me just wrap my mind around that for a second. So first of all, y'all, Desarae's being 100 with how this thing works is not necessarily just a one shoe fit all, but the consistency, right? You went 4 years. So like sometimes people are looking at your page, oh my gosh, like, X amount of followers and you got all this stuff going on.
And I didn't have much followers back then. Maybe just a couple thousand.
Right. But and how did that help? Like, was that helping you grow? You found, or was it?
Yeah, because again, you said took the words out of my mouth. Consistency. So if you want to be seen, and of course, this is where the algorithm comes into play as well too. If you want to be seen, you have to consistently post. You can't just post on one and done and expect people to see it.
Wow.
Right. So you have to find something, and stick to it. So if your thing is going to be covers, post the covers.
Right.
Don't just post it one time.
Right.
Post it every week.
Every week.
Because if the more you post, the more people are going to see it.
Right.
Because it's not just your friends or the people that are following you that are going to see it.
Right.
They're going to see it and they're going to share it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And those people are going to share it, and then other people that are following them. So essentially, when people take your post and they share it,
Right.
their networks are going to see it and share it, and then their networks. So you're going to be tapping into other people's networks.
I love that.
And if you continue to post, then the following, you'll see the numbers go up, and then the algorithm will catch it.
Start favoring you.
Right? I'll say this. I had a series that I started in 2022 after the Cover Tuesday series.
Okay.
Because after a while, I was like, okay, I want to do something new. And that happens where, you know, if you consistently post something and you're like, okay, as you grow as a musician, you know, other ideas pop up.
Right.
Other creative ideas come up.
Right.
And after I ended the Cover Tuesday saga,
Right.
4.5 years of covers. It was great.
Faithfully, right?
Faithfully, but not only that, I had spin-offs out of that.
Yeah.
Christmas Cover Tuesdays, Cover Tuesdays collabs, Cover Tuesdays duo. So there were so many different things. And I was at church, and during service and during praise and worship, and just like, you know, those moments where they're not singing it, I'd be coming up with these different progressions. And I'm like, oh, I have to do something with this. So I was at home, and I was just sitting in my studio playing, and then 4-chord worship came to my head.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I have to make this a series. I have to do this.
Yeah.
So in December of 2022, we started this series on TikTok. Originally started on TikTok, and within maybe 3 months, I went viral.
Wow.
And I had 4 videos go viral on TikTok, 6-digit figure numbers.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this was at a time where, number one, my account got hacked on Instagram.
Wow.
So I lost 8 years of hard work. So all the posts from 2013 to 2021,
so you had to start over?
I had to restart. I had to get a new page. Couldn't get my page back.
No way.
Yep. But at the time, I was working with a social media company, so they kind of helped boost my following. But of course, like, people are gonna unfollow and all that. But I lost all of my engagement, all of that. I had to
literally started over.
from the bottom. Now we're here, type thing.
So when people go on your page now and see where you are and how you're doing, that's like start. That's a start over. That was
from 2021 until present time. That was me rebuilding my page, and I'm actually glad that I had to restart.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I was glad for it, because after a while you don't resonate with certain things.
Got you.
Right? And as you grow, you shed.
Right.
As you grow, certain things that you do don't resonate with you anymore. So I was okay. But also, I had a friend who told me, Desarae, go back on TikTok. And I wasn't listening. She's like, go back on TikTok.
Right.
And I finally said, okay, fine. I bit the bullet. And what I did was I repurposed my content. So if you're not sure what repurposing is, it's basically taking what you were posting on one outlet and posting it on the other outlet.
Got you. So people don't. So I think that's a good point, because sometimes people might be like, oh man, like, Desarae, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like, maybe they're like me and have kids, and like they're just trying to figure out life, and like so many things going on, work and all this stuff. But like as you said, like sometimes you can literally take other stuff that you have. Maybe you had maybe a 3-4 minute performance, and maybe it's a 20-second clip of that.
That's the thing. Like, if you're performing and you have a gig, for example, and you take footage, take the best. I think they're saying now that the best length for reels is 30 seconds to a minute.
Wow.
Right? Because before it was 15 seconds.
Right.
And then Instagram was like, okay, we'll give you more time.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, we'll give you more time.
Right.
So now you can post a minute and 30 seconds. But the sweet spot is 30 seconds to a minute.
Y'all hear that?
So whatever, if you do a gig, and before I even say this, this is what I noticed on just pages of musicians.
Right.
You're a musician.
Right.
Why do you not have content of yourself?
Playing.
Right. Right? No, I have to say it, because I go
No, that's a good point.
I see, and I'm like, okay, you're a musician, but you have nothing on here that shows me you're a musician.
Right.
You don't have any clips of you playing.
Right.
You don't have any clips of your performance.
Right.
So if you're going to hold a title
right.
like that, There
Show
needs
it.
to be evidence.
Right.
So if you're a musician, I need to see that you're a musician.
Right.
If you're an artist, I need to see that you're an artist.
Right.
If you're
right.
a public figure, I need
Right.
to see that you're a public figure.
Right.
So there's so many times that people are, holding on to these titles, but their page shows nothing of that. Right?
I'm guilty, but I hear you though.
I'm just saying.
I hear you.
And I will say this because this will come up in my presentation, but I'm going to say it now. You have to treat your social media page like a resume.
Say that again.
You have to treat your social media page like a resume.
Wow.
So if you're a musician and like we said earlier about you want to book performances,
Right.
You want to get on the gigs, you want to get on the tours, you have to treat your page like a resume.
Got you.
Right. If you go to
next slide.
I'm gonna skip over some stuff
Okay.
here,
No worries.
just because we're on this subject
Yeah,
of pages. If you go to the represent yourself well slide.
And while we're getting that on the screen for our viewers and our in-person audience, if y'all have any questions at any point in time, please, whether online in the group chat or on the mic, just let us know. This is a discussion, Desarae. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. So just letting folks know that as well.
It'd be slide number 11. So you're gonna have to keep going through. Keep going. There you go. Oh, you pressed that. There you go.
Awesome.
Okay, so you're a musician. You need to post things. You want to book the gigs. You want to book the shows. You want to get on the tours. You need to represent yourself well.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? If you say you're a musician, you need to represent that on your page. Do you have videos of yourself playing? Right.
And let's talk about that, Desarae, because I know we talked a little bit about the technical side. Sometimes people put a lot of barriers, like, oh, I don't have like the latest camera, or I don't have this, or I don't have the fancy blue light, or
Can I speak on that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so when I started posting videos, what was I using? I had like a digital camera, like one of those like
the old school
digital cameras I was using in the very beginning.
For real.
Until I got an iPhone.
Okay.
And let me tell you something about iPhones. And Android users, leave me alone. Okay. All of my videos that I have posted on socials were because of an iPhone.
Wow. To this day.
To this day, I have never used a professional camera to record any of my videos.
Wow. Amazing, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all hear that? So, like, if you invest in an iPhone.
Because at the time, I had to use what I could afford.
Right.
And I upgraded my iPhones
right.
every so often.
Right.
Where, like, all of my stuff now, I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max.
Okay.
And all you have to do is make some simple adjustments to the settings
right.
for it to look professional.
Got
In
you.
addition to that, it's all about the lighting.
Right.
As well, too. And you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on lighting.
Yeah, like do you have recommendations or like what should people be getting?
So I started off using a ring light that I bought from Amazon for $20.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
But over time and as, finances started growing,
right.
I invested and got an LED light.
Okay.
Now LED light.
Solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I paid maybe $100 for mine on Amazon. Listen, Amazon. Right. That's where I got all my stuff for my studio.
For real.
Amazon. Right? But it's all about the lighting and how you use it. So you don't have to go and spend, $2-3 grand on a professional camera. If you know how to get the right lighting change the settings. Like on iPhone for video recording, I use 4K at 30 frames per second.
Got you.
That's the sweet one.
Got you.
Because Instagram has this thing where they like to ruin the quality. So if you put it on the highest quality, like it may not come out.
Got you.
Like that. Now, of course, if you look at other, content creators, they're probably using the fancy cameras and they're editing on like Adobe and all of that stuff.
But you're not doing that.
I'm not doing that. I'm just using my iPhone.
And how do you edit? Like, what are you using?
So I was using an app called InShot.
Okay.
Which you can get on the App Store. And I was using that for a really long time until the era of CapCut.
Okay.
So I switched over to CapCut.
And tell us about, because we're not, maybe we're not in that world. Maybe we're not really.
Yeah. So if you want an easy way to edit, and edit on the go too, because I don't have my computer. I don't have access to my computer
Right,
all the
right.
time. So I edit everything on my phone. And I
That's so
use CapCut.
encouraging.
I edit the text and the transitions, just like you would do on in like what's it called, Final Cut
Right,
Pro
right,
or
right.
Adobe.
But you're doing
But
that
I'm
on the
doing it
go.
directly on my phone.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's honestly so encouraging. So like, y'all, if for those that are online, for those that are here, listen, like start basic. Like that. Like that's what Desiree's saying, right? Like you see her page, like yeah, we see the numbers, yeah, we see the engagement, yeah, we see you blowing up, but like shoot, like you're telling us you're doing everything on your phone. Like you're not doing no professional this or that, or and you're just self-taught, right? Is that
Yeah. So I kind of had to learn things on my own.
right?
I would ask some people, but people like to gatekeep information. I don't know
True.
why
Yeah.
people like to gatekeep information,
Right.
because there's enough room for everybody.
In the information era too.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna gatekeep the information, I'm just gonna find out the information on the World Wide
True.
Web.
Yeah. True.
Google will just tell
True.
me if you're not gonna tell me.
Yup.
My friend Google will tell me.
AI
Right?
now, right?
Yeah, right? And AI
Yup. For
or
real.
Chat GPT will let
yup.
me know what's good if you're not gonna tell me.
For real.
But free game all over the place.
Yup.
But yeah, when it comes to representing yourself on social media, like content is important, but also if you want to book the gigs and you want to be noticeable, do you have a logo?
Say that again, actually, because
Do you have a logo?
And so, Desiree, I actually, you're all like, you're rocking you right now. Can we get a shot? Like, I think this might be in the way a little bit, but if you
I
can
can
kind of
move
get
this.
that, yeah, like, so this is your brand,
So
like this is you
the
out there.
Desarae D brand, right?
That's
Like
what's
on my
up.
hat and
That's what's up.
my shirt, because it's important to represent yourself well, right?
That's what's up.
So I had a logo that I had. Oh gosh, I want to say pre-2018.
Okay.
And at the time when I had management was said to me, Desiree, it's time to upgrade this logo.
Right.
So as you grow as a musician, as you
Yup.
evolve, you have to change things.
Right,
Right.
right.
And that logo had to go. So I sat with a friend of mine. Her name is Josie Lacorte.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful lady. She's great. She's super talented. I went to her and I said, hey, I need a new logo, but I want something that embodies who I am as a musician, as a creator, as a person,
Right.
Because not only are you a musician, you are a human.
Right.
You have a
And
personality.
we forget that, right? Like,
Yeah.
and especially in the
Yeah.
social media age, like
Yeah.
sometimes it can be so disingenuous and like, oh, I gotta do this, but like you're talking about essentially what I'm hearing is like bringing yourself out and
You have to.
expressing yourself.
You have to. It's all a part of music. Like, if you're not expressing yourself, then what's the point?
True.
So I said, I want a logo that embodies me, what I do as a musician, all of that. So we came up with she came up with the concept of having the 2 Ds,
Right.
which is what you see here,
Yup.
right? So Desarae D. And then because I'm a piano player, this is a piano.
Absolutely.
People thought this was something else. It's actually a piano.
Okay, yeah,
And the best part, this part here is an outline of my face.
Right. So it's literally
Yeah,
Desiree,
so it's
right.
literally Desiree
you.
D, and it's on the slides as well, too,
That's what's
so you
up.
can see
Right,
as
big up.
well. So
Big
stuff
up
like
yourself.
that. Have a logo.
Right.
Have something that represents who you are, like your vision.
And like,
yeah.
and folks can get started on these stuff. I know there's websites like Out There Fiverr
Absolutely.
and this and
Even Canva.
Right,
Listen,
Canva,
Canva
right.
is
Yeah,
my
yeah.
best friend for life. When I found out about Canva,
game
it was
changer.
over.
Yup.
Everything that you see on social media, all of my graphics outside of my logo, I
Right.
did in Canva.
Wow.
I paid the $18 a month because
Yup.
it's the investment,
Yup.
right? And I have access to everything.
And
so,
you're just
and
designing
I
and you're
design
good.
everything on my own. I just do what I feel fits my brand.
Got you.
And you have to think of yourself as a brand,
Got you.
right? So even right down to your graphics have to embody your brand.
Right.
So if you see on Facebook, I have like a cover photo and it has a picture of myself and it says Desiree D with my logo and it says music, I guess my branding, music, style, grace.
Right. Right.
That was something that I came up with
Yup.
my former manager.
Yeah.
And this is just what she saw in
Yeah.
me and what I embodied.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So any graphics, color scheme, all of that.
Got you.
Like,
got
it has
you.
to embody who you are.
Got
right?
you.
Next thing you need, business cards.
Okay.
So like I said, if you want to book the gigs and you want to book the shows, how are people contacting you? Now, there are, electronic business cards that they do, but some people, I realize people are old school.
Yeah.
And they prefer to have the physical card.
Yeah. Some people.
So
yeah.
again, Canva is your best friend.
True.
If you go to, there's a slide. Can you go to the next slide for me, please?
And yeah, we'll get this up for the online audience as well.
Yeah.
Folks in the
So
room.
those are just pictures of my logos there, so you can see. And then if you go to the next slide, it's a picture of my business card. Okay. So I have a front side and a back side. So has my logo, my name, and when you flip it,
Solid.
it has all of my information. It tells you who I am, what I do,
Right.
how you can contact me, and my socials.
Got you. And so, like, to you, it's not enough to just say, I'm going to do social media or I'm going to post a video. You're literally, as you said, thinking of yourself as an entire business. Like,
Yeah.
what's my brand?
Yeah.
What's my style? How am I reflecting that? What kinds of things do I want to communicate to the world about myself? So it's much more than just, here's my phone, make a video. Like, it's bigger than that.
It's much, especially when you are getting more eyes
Right.
on you.
Right.
Like, you have to have these things in place. Like,
Got you.
eventually, when you have more eyes, people are like, oh, I want to book her for this. Oh, I
Right.
want to book her for this.
Right.
But if you don't have anything to give the people, then
You're not
aside
even
from
right.
social media, they're going to look at your social media and be like, oh, does she have any videos of her playing? Does she have any videos of her with performing with and backing other artists?
Got you.
Right? Does she have a business card? Does she have a website?
Got you.
Does she have where's my thing here? I'm just gonna pull it up.
Yeah, no worries.
Where is it here? So many things. Does she have pro photos? Let me speak on this really quick.
Yeah. That's actually another one.
It's very sad when I see like people post flyers
Right.
and they have like the band and people are sending in selfies as their picture. Right? Now, you can get some pro photos done.
Right.
And now, I understand that people may not have the budget
Right.
because there's professional photos could
Yup.
be as expensive as $1,000.
Right.
I only pay $200.
Right.
So if you want, contact me.
Okay.
But there is something else you can do, and it's in Toronto. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with a place called Monography.
No, you probably.
Okay, so Monography is North America's first pop-up selfie like photo booth
Okay.
type situation.
Yeah.
Now, that is another alternate if you want pro photos. Essentially,
Okay.
they have two locations. They have one downtown on Bloor Street, and they have another one in Midtown at Yonge and Shepherd.
Nice.
And you can go in. It's $75, I believe.
Okay.
And you can get headshots done, professional headshots.
Okay.
You can get editorial shots, so that's full body,
Yeah.
for $75.
Wow.
They give you all the proofs, and they will edit 2 photos, and they will print them off for you.
What?
And if you
That's
want, you
amazing.
can take those proofs and take it to a photographer,
And
they can
print
edit it for you. And I'm
Right.
most photographers charge $10 to $30 per picture to edit.
Okay.
So if you don't have the big budget to hire a photographer and go to a location and pay for
Right.
that location, this
Right.
is another alternate option,
Gotcha.
right? You can go and take photos at Monography.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so this is like free game, y'all. So she's telling you like whether or not you have the big budgets and the this and the that. Like sometimes it's as simple as you mentioned, taking advantage of some of these things and getting some real. But it's important to have because if you don't have it, as you're saying, it's going to reflect back on you.
Yeah, right? Like
Right.
I want to, if I get booked for a show and they're posting pictures of the band, I want to look at the photo and be happy with the photo
Right.
that's on there.
Right.
Like I know personally I wouldn't be happy with having a selfie
Right.
of myself on the flyer. I'm just saying. Right?
And it also is to your point, right? It
Yeah.
presents better, right?
It does, right? And for
Absolutely.
me, like, I changed my hair a lot,
Okay.
and my style has changed over the years. So you're gonna have to update those photos,
Okay.
right? Like I'm not dressing the same way I was at 20. I'm
Okay.
34 years old. I don't dress the same way now,
Right.
right? But also I change my hair a lot. My
Got
look is
you.
always changing. Sometimes my weight changes, right? So you have to update those
Right,
photos
right,
eventually,
right.
right?
Got
Like
you.
I don't want to keep using a photo that's 5, 6 years old. I need
Right.
to update those photos
Right.
because as you grow and as you get older, you look different,
Right.
right? So you're gonna have to update.
Otherwise, it's like they show up and it's like.
Do you still look like that? Meanwhile, this guy used to have hair, but he's bald,
Okay,
right?
true. Yup.
So
Yup.
you
Life
have to
happens. Yup. Yup.
update the photos.
I
And
got
then the
you.
last thing is having an EPK,
Okay.
electronic press kit.
Okay. Break that down because
Okay.
like, what is that?
So
and why do you need that?
essentially a electronic press kit, like if you're an artist, I would use it. Musicians, I mean you can, which kind of is like a resume,
Okay.
but it's like a shortened version of your
Okay.
resume.
Okay.
If you pull it up for me, please. It's the next slide after this. So this is my EPK. So I have a cover photo of myself,
Okay.
something that will attract
Absolutely.
people, has my
right.
name there, and it has my socials,
Got
and
you.
it has my contact for bookings
Got you.
and business. So if you want to reach out to me to book me, my email is there or there's social media.
Got you.
Right. On the next page, I have like if I was ever in articles. If I was, if I featured on TV, like I have a
Right.
section for if I made any television appearances, or if I have music out, I have all of my releases, and I
Gotcha.
have a shortened version of my bio in the
Right.
corner, just like the most important
essentials,
part.
right. Yeah.
But then I also have another page that has my full bio
Got you.
there
yeah,
as well
yeah.
too, because it's important to have the full bio,
Right.
right?
And so
Yeah.
what I'm hearing from you, Desiree, it's like you're essentially creating a professional profile, right? Like you're saying, hey, here are the things that people are going to want to know about me. They're going to need to see how do I look? Who am I? They're going to want to know what have you done that's that's noteworthy. They're going to want to know. And so, and like to your point, take advantage of some of the tools, whether it's this monography,
Yeah.
right? So there you go. That's something that folks are learning, or even like certain things that can help you with writing these days, right? We talked about AI and all of these things, and so so many of these barriers now are coming down. It's just becoming that much easier, and it's like we now as musicians have to say, all right, let's go for it. Let's do it.
And what I realized is there are, like, especially with certain artists, with the band, there's a certain look
Right.
that they're looking for,
Right.
which is why it's important to make sure you have these things, especially the photos,
Right.
Because I've noticed with certain artists that there's a certain look that they look for when it comes to
Right.
their band,
Right.
whether it's a whole male band or it's a
Right.
female band. There's a
Right.
certain look, and if you
Right.
fit the description of the look,
Right.
they're gonna book
That's
you. That's
opportunities.
also the other part of it
Got
too.
you.
So in addition to your skill,
Right.
they're looking like how does this person present themselves? How
Right,
are they
right,
gonna
right.
look on stage?
Right. Are you presentable?
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of musicians don't think about those things. They think, oh, okay, well, I have the skills, cool.
Right.
But they're
I
actually
can
looking
play.
at, I can play, but how are you going to look on stage? Because if you notice, like, with a lot of the bands, they have, like, different outfits that they
Right,
wear and
right,
stuff like
right.
that. And, like, how are you matching up, like, style-wise, stylistically with other people
Got you.
in the band? Like, they
Right.
look at those things.
Got you. So,
Yeah.
like, what I'm hearing is the music counts and it
Yes,
matters.
it does, yeah.
But it's kind of the package as well. Got you. That's what's
You're
up.
a package deal, which is why it's important to represent yourself well.
Got you. I love that.
Yeah.
And talk. I know you're gonna segue into this, but
Mm-hmm.
like, talk about how. Because even as I know we're going into the artist endorsements and the brand deals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are they looking for similar things as well? Or what have you seen in that sense? Like,
Okay.
yeah.
So when it comes to just like endorsements and brand deals and stuff, they're looking at social media. That is like one of the most important things. So aside
Right.
from, can you sell yourself? Are you marketable?
Uh-huh.
Do you have the audience that they're looking for? Because
Okay.
a lot of these companies will look at your like what your audience size is, and if they can directly target that audience with the product. And if they feel you are the person that can help them using your audience to target their products.
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
So social media is actually very important when it comes to endorsements. And this is something that I realized when I went to NAM. So if you're not familiar with NAM, it's the National Association
It's
of
not
Music
eating
Marketers.
a lot. You're not talking about that now.
No,
Okay.
NAM.
Okay.
NAM. So it's this big music conference that's in Los Angeles. They have it every single year. The National Association of Music Merchants. There we
Okay.
go. Sorry, I
Okay.
said it wrong. And when I was there, and I would visit the different booths, like they'd be like, "Hey, like here's our business card. Follow us on social media."
Yeah.
And when you're talking to them about like endorsements and stuff, they're like, "Oh, well, what are your socials like?"
Right. Okay.
Okay, so
So they ask you straight up.
oh, absolutely. Okay,
Okay.
so when I went to the Hammond organ booth, and I got to talk to.
So hang on. It started from a conversation. Like
Yeah.
you didn't reach out to them,
No,
send them your package.
No. See, the great thing about NAM is a lot of these companies, you can go right up to them and talk to them.
Wow.
Okay, so
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
Are y'all taking this in?
This is why like NAM is a really great place to go if you're serious about your career,
Right. Right.
and you have to be serious.
Right.
Like, don't just go just for the sake of going.
Right.
Let's go for the networking, yes. But if you really want to, like, get some gear and,
Right.
like, really look into getting endorsements and
Right.
partnerships and stuff,
Right.
you got to have a plan.
Right.
So I went to the Hammond organ booth, and I was talking to the guy there, and he was like, yeah, send me your information. Send me your socials. I was like, oh, my socials? He's like, yeah, send me your socials.
Yeah.
Text them to me. He gave me his phone number, and he said,
Wow.
text me all your information. I want your EPK. I want
Yeah.
to see your socials, all of that.
So hang on, you were ready. So like y'all, cause y'all don't understand, man. Because it's like we look at the opportunity. Oh, I
Yeah.
can play, or oh,
Yeah.
you know, this company should put me on or
Yeah.
whatever. But like, are you ready? And in your point, it sounds like you were ready because you just showed us like all the stuff that you already had.
So I started really going into the endorsement and the brand deal lane 6 years ago.
Okay.
So in
right.
2018 was when I was actively pursuing
Right.
like Yamaha and
Right.
Roland and
Right.
Nord and
Right.
Hammond organ wasn't even on my radar, but I'll tell you
Right.
the story about how that happened.
Right.
And what I did was, number one, I already had Yamaha gear.
Okay.
I already had Nord gear.
Right.
So what I started doing was, okay, if I want to try and get endorsements from these companies, I need to start using their gear in my videos.
Right.
And actually tag them.
Right.
Right. So if I did like a cover, for example, on a Nord, I'd make sure I recorded myself using the Nord and I would tag them.
Okay.
Right. So because you want to get them to notice you.
Right.
Or use hashtags. I know for Nord, there's a hashtag that they use called IC Nord.
Okay. Right.
Right. And then for Yamaha, there's like Yamaha Music.
Right.
So if you want to get these brands to notice, you have to use their products in your video. And the more you do it,
and
the more
it's all so it's like this chain effect.
Yeah.
Because you got to first of all have the video as you said up there.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was the first part. You said you got to be
videos.
posting, you got to be, right?
Yep.
And then you said you got to be showing the fact that now you are, obviously you could present well and you can play and you have the talent and you have the network and things are going. And then to your point now, you have to show, hey, I have your products and I use them and they're like, it's a part of what I'm doing. So yeah, it's a big part.
Yeah. So I started doing that, right? And I would do my research. So it's not enough to just be like, oh, I want to get endorsed by this company. Does that company's values match your values? Right? Like, is there a common value there? You gotta talk about
that. I don't want that to go over anyone's head.
Yeah.
Like, break that down a little bit.
So, for example, Yamaha. Yamaha was one of the companies that I was actively pursuing. So what I did was I went on their website and I did some research. So I went under their about section. What is Yamaha all about?
Right.
What is their their like goal, or what are
Right.
their
Their
values
mission.
as a
Yep,
company? What's their mission
absolutely.
statement?
Right, right, right.
And I look at their mission statement and I'm like, does this align with who I am as a person, who I am
Got you.
as a musician?
Right.
Now, Yamaha's slogan is making waves.
Right.
Now
right.
that totally fits with what I'm doing because I'm trying to make waves.
Right, right.
As
right,
a as a
right,
black woman instrumental artist, you don't
Right.
hear about that. I'm trying to
Right.
make my own waves. I'm trying to
Absolutely.
pave my own path.
Right, right.
So we align right away.
Got you.
So I was like, okay, let me start writing out a pitch.
Right.
So in that pitch, I talked about things like who I am, what I do,
Right.
what I've done,
Right.
why I feel I'd be a good fit for the company.
So break that down.
Yeah.
So who did you because sometimes people are like, I want to talk to somebody or I want to reach out.
Yeah.
How did that go?
So basically what I did was I kind of just started writing dear artist relations or something like that. Because if I
Okay.
didn't know the person's
Right,
name.
right.
But now you can go, some of them on the website show it.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to go to LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I would go to LinkedIn and type in
Wow.
Yamaha Artist Relations and find out
Yeah.
who the actual artist relations
This is
person
game, y'all.
is, right? And then make out the pitch to them. But before I even knew them,
Okay.
I just used good afternoon artist relations or
Yeah.
Yamaha artist relations
Yeah,
or
the general,
Roland,
whoever.
just general,
Okay.
just make it a general thing.
Yeah.
And then my first paragraph was kind of like talking about who I am, what I do,
Right.
and then I had another paragraph with just like my resume, but I did it kept it short,
Yeah.
things that I've done because they want to see what
Right.
have you actually done,
Right.
as a musician. You want to be able to be marketable, but they also want to see that you have some visibility
Right.
and you've had some success in your career because
Right.
they look at those things.
Right.
And then I went into a section of why I feel I would be a good fit and how the company's mission statement fits with
Interesting.
my values and
Right.
who I am as a musician. And
So
then
you
the
wrote
last
this.
yeah, and then my last paragraph was what can I offer them? Right?
Hold up. No. So we got it twisted
Wow.
because I think a lot of times like the endorsements is like, shoot, like I want to get on. Maybe I'm a drummer. I want drum heads. I want sticks. I want a kid or whatever the
Yep.
case may be. Or, I play your stuff, so y'all should be into me. But you're saying you wrote them about what you had to offer to them. And
Because
why is that important?
Because the thing is, with these endorsements or any deal, it has to be a win-win. So they have to win and you have to win,
Right.
right? So it's like, yes, we're giving you the products
Right.
and we're giving you the visibility, but what
Right.
are you offering us
Right,
in return?
right.
Because they still have to sell products
Right.
at the end of the day.
Right.
So that's why they look at things like your socials,
Okay.
right?
Right.
How many followers do they have?
Right.
Are they active?
Right. Right.
Is there engagement?
Right.
Right? Because they're going to use that same market to sell their products too.
Got you. And so
right?
now when they go on Desirae's page and wow,
Yeah.
you've been posting for 4 years of the Tuesday.
And then they look at
covers
the
and-
numbers,
right,
then they
right.
see people are really engaged in what
Right,
she's doing.
right, right.
Oh, we can win because she already
Right.
has the visibility. We
Right.
can now sell our product to this audience.
Got you.
But I'm the person,
right. Right.
right? So you endorse Desarae. Desirae takes the product, gives it to her audience.
Got it.
Presents it in a way
Right.
where people look at, oh, I want to buy that.
Right.
Then they're
right,
going
right,
back to
right.
the company.
Got
right?
it. Got it.
So when you become endorsed, you have deliverables.
Okay. So
So
break that down because sometimes people
yeah.
don't even.
So basically, there are some things that you will have to do in exchange for products or even money. I mean, most companies, like for example, Yamaha, they sent me one of their products
Right.
and they said, "Hey, test this out.
Yeah.
See how you like it."
Right.
In exchange, I did an interview for them. And then I also did a talk on that product.
Got
So
it.
in addition to having the product, you kind of want to know the product,
Right.
get to
right,
know
right,
it,
Right.
the sounds, how it works.
right.
Because then in my interview, I also explained certain things that I liked about the board,
Got
certain
you.
things that I felt were important,
Right.
especially for who I am as a musician, what I
Right.
use particularly.
Got you.
What sounds do you like?
Got
What
you.
sounds are good together?
Right.
And those are things they give you the product. Okay, here you go. We're giving you some time to kind of figure out this board,
Got
the different
you.
sounds, the different functions, and all
Right.
of that because we want you to do an interview. So
Right.
that was the exchange. So they
Got
win,
you.
I win.
Got you. So
Yeah.
y'all see how it works. So it's not just
Yeah.
this one-way street. So
Yeah.
essentially, it's like, hey, Desarae, we want you to use this. Check it out. Da 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 da. Tell us, tell our audience how it works and all of that. You get to use it. Of course, if you're gigging with it, if you're doing what you're doing, recording, you're doing what you got to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're helping them by saying, hey, here's the review you asked for, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it's that two.
And then in turn, I got to keep the stuff.
Amazing. Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's like an exchange. Like, you do this for us, we give you this. Not only that, you get discounts.
Right.
Right. Now, the discounts vary depending on the company. Right. I'm not privy to tell you how much it is, but you do get some sort of discount. But also, Yamaha got me to do other things. So it wasn't just an interview. I also did a songwriting camp as well, too. Right. They may come to me and be like, hey, like, we want to get you to do something with this board. And in exchange, they'll give me that board. Right.
It sounds like it's all about relationships. Like, that's what, because it sounds like it's
ding,
not
ding,
just,
ding, ding. Right? So not only that, I actually have a relationship.
Right.
So Yamaha. So how I got that endorsement, and this is when I tell you God is good.
Right.
Because everything was just like in alignment.
Right.
But also I was in the right place at the right time. So Yamaha. I did a photo shoot in Ajax.
Okay.
And at this place called Velvet Season Studios. Shameless plug for that business. If you live in the Durham region, go there and shoot your photos. It's basically the Mint Studios of Durham region.
Okay, that's
Anyways, I knew one of the owners. And it just so happens the day that I did the photo shoot, the other owner was in. So that was my first time meeting her, and I found out that they went to school together and blah, 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 blah. So we're just casually having a conversation. I'm getting to know her. She's getting to know me. I told her, yeah, I'm into music, and this is what I do, and yada, yada, yada. And out of the blue, this lady says, so my husband works at Yamaha.
Wow.
Now, I was not asking her to even tell me that, but she was just casually saying, my husband, he works in the sales department at Yamaha.
Wow,
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I did my photo shoot.
Yep.
When I got home, I got a DM from her. She said, hey, I know we were having a conversation about music and stuff, but here's my husband's information. Send him an email.
Right.
Okay.
And so that's what you were talking about before, and here's what I'm doing.
So like I said, I had my pitch written 6 years ago.
Wow.
Okay.
You're ready.
And I was ready to go.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I've got the contact now.
Yeah.
So copy and paste.
Wow. For real.
And I got a message within 15 minutes.
Wow. No way.
From the sales manager. And he's like, yeah, we've heard about you. You've heard
about
me?
What? Okay.
They've heard about me already. What? And they forwarded me to the keyboard manager, who's a black woman.
Okay. That's what's up.
Okay. So that's how that happened. Okay. When I went to NAMM.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you bring up relationships.
Right.
Okay. So over the years of being on social media and posting and doing collaborations, I had the privilege of, connecting with some heavy hitters in the industry.
Right.
And I remember I posted a video. I think it was a cover of To God Be the Glory that I did.
Okay.
And Mike Burrell liked the video.
Yep.
Now, I didn't know who he was at the time.
Right.
And somebody in Toronto commented on the same video and said, oh, my God, Mike Burrell liked this.
Right.
Now, I was like, oh, so he must be a big deal. Because, again, I didn't know who he was. So, being the person I am, I did my research.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
you're
a big deal.
Yep.
Right? And from there, we just kind of built a friendship.
Gotcha.
And like for me, I want to get to know people. I want to build those genuine connections. And you have to build those genuine connections.
Right.
Don't just build connections with people just to get something out of them.
For real.
Right? Just because, this person knows this person, so I'm going to befriend this person so I can, get this out of it. And then you just dash away.
It's so transactional, right?
Yeah.
And there's no relationship.
Yeah, it's just a transaction. Like, you give me this and I give.
Yeah.
I don't like that because I actually care and I want to build those genuine connections because you never know when you might need that person later on. Don't burn your bridges. Right? Don't just take from them and then burn the relationship, and then later down the road you might need them and they're not available because it was just a transactional friendship. You didn't steward that relationships.
Got you.
And I stewarded a relationship with Mike Burrell. We talked back and forth. He was very encouraging. When I went to NAMM, he took care of me.
Wow.
Like on the last day of NAM, and people think that nothing happens on the last day.
Okay.
Okay? They come for all the hype
Okay.
at the beginning of the week. They come
Yeah.
for all the different performances
Okay.
and all
Okay.
this stuff, and then they go home before it's actually done.
Okay. Okay.
So, and it's funny how this happened because I was not planning on going the last day. I
Okay.
was like, hey, I'm going to go. I flew in on the Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm only going on Friday and Saturday.
Right.
And then I got other things I
Yeah.
got to do. But mine said, no, you got to go. You got to
Okay.
go. And Mike was like, hey, I'm performing. You should come. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
That man took me to Juicy Ears.
Got you.
And he said, hey, this is Desarae D.
Yup, yup, yup.
You need to endorse her. They endorsed me on the spot.
No way.
They gave me a pair of ears on the spot.
No way.
Then he took me to Hammond, Oregon. I was not expecting this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because,
yeah.
I mean, I play the organ, but I'm still learning,
Yeah, yeah,
you know. Took me over. I met Kim Tibbs,
Okay. Yeah.
rudest organ player ever. And she's
For
like,
real.
she brought me directly to one of the guys, and she's like,
Yeah.
we need more black women. Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
What
So
y'all
we had a
say?
whole conversation, and he was like, hey, send me your social, send me
Yup.
your information. Here's my
Yup.
phone number.
Right.
And he emailed me, and he was like, oh my God, your socials are, like, they blew me away.
Wow.
And they're like, here's the contract.
No way.
They're like, yeah, send us your information. We're posting it on the website.
Wow. Just like that. So
Just like that.
so this is real, y'all. So first of all, Desiree, like thank
Yeah.
you for being so open and honest about it. But
Absolutely.
like I think what stands out to me is like it didn't just come to you. You went out, you know, like you invested in going to NAM, right? You invested in the pictures to make sure that you had, you know, the 4 years of posting, the you
It
know
was
the
much
ones
longer than that. 11
right,
years of
yeah,
posting
listen,
to be
but
exact.
yeah, right.
But like I tried a lot of different things, you know. People know about the Cover Tuesday series. I did a
Right.
production series.
Right,
I
right,
have a
right.
Christmas series I do every year. You know, I've done so many different things.
Gotcha.
I've had to. I lost my account,
Yeah,
and I could
that's
have.
wild.
I could have given
coulda
up.
quit right
I
then
could have
and
quit and be
there.
like, "Yo, forget about social
Right?
media." Like I put 8 years into that page, and then somebody just
Oh
came
my
and took it.
gosh.
But I have a lot of resilience,
Wow.
and I was like, "Oh, you thought you could take a page?"
Right.
But I'm still
gonna
gonna keep doing what I gotta do. I'll figure it out, right?
Right.
So I went on TikTok,
Right.
did my educational content,
Right.
blew up,
Wow.
blew up.
Wow.
30+ thousand followers on there.
Amazing.
Over 3 million views, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I took the 4-chord worship series and brought it to Instagram.
Yup,
Blew
yup.
up on Instagram, and I'm like,
Amazing.
God.
Yup.
You know when you're doing something for such a long time,
Yeah.
and you're just waiting
I know.
for that moment where
Yup.
you know things just.
Yup.
I've been content creating for 11 years
Wow.
consistently, and the first time I took a break was after before I went to NAM. I
Wow.
didn't post anything for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost some followers
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
but because 4-chord worship already had a reputation,
Right.
and I was already doing well with the series,
Yeah.
I was comfortable with taking the month and a half off from
Yeah.
posting. And
Yeah.
sometimes as a creative, you have to take breaks.
Right. Right.
It's okay to take a break. Like, you'll rebuild,
Right.
especially if you've already established
Right.
yourself. And 4-chord worship was
Yeah.
well established before
Right.
I took the break. It was over 1 million views before I took the break.
Right.
So I could take the break
Right.
and know that when I came back, all
You'll
I had to
still be
do was
there.
just kind of get back into the rhythm of things.
Got you.
And then things will be fine. But after, putting out so much content, I'm pretty sure, I don't know how many videos I have out right now, a lot.
Amazing.
But I was okay with taking the break. And that's one thing I will tell you, like, social media is not a real place.
Yeah.
But
say that again. I think
social
we
media
need-
is not a
I
real
think we need
place.
to know-
It's not a real place, but you still have to be real, if that makes sense.
Yup,
It's not a
yup.
real place, but you still got to be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You still
yeah,
got to be yourself. You still always be yourself. And don't waver from being yourself. Because in a world where, people try to put on a front for social media, they like to wear masks. They mask their true personality, and they just put on for the gram, as they
Right,
say.
Right.
I've just learned to be myself. So the same person you see on social media is the same person you see in person.
Right.
Like,
right.
I play the same way in real life. I am the same way in real life.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
fake the funk.
Right.
It's me 100%.
Yup.
Like, I'm not portraying a different Desiree on. Nope, it's the same person.
Being all
Yeah.
nice on social
No,
media.
I really
and
am
then
a nice
jerk
person in real
behind
life.
the
I am not a
scenes.
jerk. I'm really not. I'm a very nice person. I'm very kind. I'm very giving.
Right.
So the same way I am on there, I am the same person in real life because it's important to be that. Because again, you have eyes. People are always looking, but also people are looking for some inspiration. Right. I get DMs all the time. Even with the 4 Chord Wishes series, people are like, "Oh my God, I love your videos. I tried it in church today, and it was so good. Thank you so much for posting." Those are the messages that I care. I don't care about the followers, and I don't care about being popular. But it's the messages that I get. Like people are like, "Oh my God, you made me want to play piano again."
Wow. Yeah.
Right. I've booked clients.
Yeah.
Off of social media.
Wow.
Off of posting. I had a family in PEI.
Wow.
Who reached out to me. They're like, "My daughter, she sees you on TikTok and we want to take lessons."
Oh my goodness.
So the fact that you can transfer
Absolutely.
and get business
now
off of posting, right?
There
but
you
this
go.
is where consistency comes into play.
Gotcha.
If you're not consistent, then you're not going to yield those results that you want to see.
Gotcha.
And if you're a teacher like me, like I post the educational content, right? Yeah, after a while, like I post, breakdowns and stuff, but you can't give everything away for free. That's one thing you have to remember. Like if you're doing educational content and people are like, "Oh, I want the breakdown for this. Oh, can you play it in this key? Oh, can you play it in this key?" I said, book a lesson with me for 30 minutes, and I can show you. I can give you the breakdown. Now, I understand people may not have the budget. But this is the nice thing about social media. They have things called broadcast channels, and they have subscriptions, right? So if you can't afford to do like a lesson for $30 for 30 minutes, you can subscribe for $4, and I can give you these things. So that's also how you can leverage social media. But again, like everything, there is restrictions, and there's things that you have to do on your end in order to have access to these things. If you want to monetize, like subscriptions, for example, you need 10,000 followers on social media. So you got to put in the work.
So that's on Instagram?
Yes, on Instagram.
Okay,
and I believe it's the same thing on TikTok as well, too.
Okay.
Or maybe it's less.
Okay.
But you can't get these things if you don't put in the work. You have to put into the work to get this. I had somebody in the States, a friend of mine, his name is Stephen Felton.
Okay.
And he just hit 10,000 followers recently. And this man only had 2,000 followers like months ago.
Oh, wow. So he's been grinding.
Yeah, but he was like, "Desarae, like, thank you so much. Like, you inspired me to be consistent."
Wow. Amazing.
Right? And he was able to do it. But if you have a plan and you have a strategy and you're consistent, you will yield the results that you want.
I love that. And I'm curious because I know some folks are online. There's some folks here in person as well. Listen, do y'all have any question? I know we've been covering some ground so far. We've talked about consistency. We've talked about how I loved how you put it, present yourself well and making sure you're doing that. We talked about a couple things, but maybe there's some little bits or pieces that people might want you to dig in a little deeper. So we just want to know, y'all, if you're online right now, you have a question, why don't you go ahead and drop it in the group chat. We'll ask Desarae. Or in person, please just head up there to the mic. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, hello.
Hey, what's
going
on?
Everybody.
Yeah, what's up?
I just want to say I really enjoy this chat. I mean, there's so many gems here.
Awesome.
I don't even know where to start. One thing I want to know is how did you convert your impact online and bring it in person? So when you did your shows, when you did your performances, how did all that, like that profile of you, convert to like in person? And how did that strengthen or how did it build up your brand?
Yeah.
Great question.
So with the shows now, what I do is I will always post flyers for my shows, right? If I have a show coming up, I'm posting it. But not only am I posting it, I'm sending messages and I'm connecting with people. So I'm like, "Hey, I have this show coming up. Here's the link. Would love it if you can come out." Right? And I've gotten people come to my shows because I have sent them a personal message.
Got you.
So I'm not just making the post on my page because the way with the way Instagram is right now, the algorithm is horrible. So most
Yeah.
people aren't seeing.
Right.
So you have to kind of go to that next step and actually reaching out to people
Got
and
you.
sending them the flyers and saying, hey, I have this show coming up. I would love for you to be there, right? If you can't be there, I would love it if you could support and buy a ticket,
Right.
right? And I've had, like, I'll use my recent show as an example. I posted it and I sent it to some friends,
Yeah.
right? Now, unfortunately, I only had one person come, but that's
Okay.
okay. But even though there was only one person,
Right.
people still bought tickets.
Right. Right.
So
right.
people that didn't come
Right.
still
Supported
supported.
you,
They
right.
still bought the tickets. I
Right.
still have people sending me money to
Absolutely.
this day,
Amazing.
right? Because they're like, I'm so sorry I couldn't come, but I still want
wanna
to
support
support
you.
you. I want
Absolutely.
to support what you're doing.
Right.
They're still sending monetary.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. So there's layers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you can't just post and expect people to show up. You have to do the work. You have to reach out to them and be like, hey, I have this show coming up.
Got you.
Would love for you to be there. And if you can't, would love for you to share it on your networks
Yeah,
as well
yeah,
too.
yeah,
You
yeah.
have to go the extra mile
Got
in
you.
order to make those conversions. When it comes to like piano lessons now, because I was posting educational content, right? I was able to book. I have 3 U.S. clients right now that I teach on a
Amazing.
consistent basis,
Yeah.
and that was because they saw my material.
Online. Yeah.
They were serious
Right.
because a lot of people who are like, yeah, I want to take lessons, they're not serious.
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
And yes, you want those sales to convert,
Right.
but I'd rather have only 3 clients
that are consistent.
that are consistent
Right. Right.
because that's
income.
income
yup.
for me because I
Absolutely.
know they're serious and they're consistent
Absolutely.
versus 20 people coming to me and saying, oh, I want lessons, and they just come to
Yeah.
one lesson.
Right. Right.
For me, it's I want people who are serious,
Right.
but they're going to be consistent with their
Absolutely.
learning. It's not just a one lesson and
Right.
done, because that's
Yeah.
happened to me before where I've had, say, like 5-10 people come to me and they're like, hey, I would love for you to show me some things.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't
doesn't
convert
convert.
into a lifetime client,
Got you.
right?
Got you.
And I find like as you see those people, you'll be able to weed them out.
Got you.
Right? I'm like, it's cool. Yeah, you want to do the one lesson,
Yeah.
but I'd rather somebody who actually wants to invest
Right. Right.
in their
right.
learning. And
Right.
what I'm finding these days is a lot of musicians do not want to invest in their learning. They
hear
don't
you.
want to invest. They don't want to put the money in. They want things for free.
Right. Everything.
And they're like, oh, well, she's posting it on social media for free, so why should I pay the money? So there was a strategy behind doing certain things.
Right.
So obviously I'm getting started with certain content,
Right.
especially the educational content.
Absolutely.
So I'm drawing in the people. So I'm like, how
Right.
can I draw the people in?
Right.
Okay, let's post some breakdowns.
Right.
So when I first started posting on TikTok,
Right.
I posted breakdowns.
Right.
After a while, I was like, okay, I'm going to
Pull back.
pull
yeah.
back now.
Yeah.
And it's like, now if you want the breakdown, book
Here's
a
a-
lesson with me.
Absolutely. Here's the
Right?
way.
Right? And we'll see who's serious now
Right.
about
right,
it.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
and who actually wants to invest in themselves.
Got you.
If you want to rise, you've got to pay the price.
Right. 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 Right.
If you want to rise, you got to pay the price.
Right.
So if you want to
And-
be better, you have to invest money.
Right.
Like, you can't expect, you can go on YouTube and get these YouTube tutorials and all of that
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
but nothing beats sitting down with somebody
Right.
one-on-one and
Asking
getting them to break
questions,
it down and
yup.
asking questions. And you can
Absolutely.
ask as many questions as you want in the
Right.
half an hour.
Yeah.
Nothing beats that.
Yeah, and you know what you said too, Desiree, that stood out to me. Like, you talk about doing the work. Like, I think sometimes, especially on social media, it can be so. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess it can be so like. I'm gonna put it like this. It can be like you see the meal cooked, but you don't see the preparation behind it. You know. And so I feel like sometimes you might be on someone's page and you see the dinner served and you know the following and the hype and you know the this and the that and whatever, but like you're not seeing the work behind it, right? And so you exemplified that, right? You talked about your consistency on the posting. You're talking about, hey, I don't just make a flyer. I'll literally go out and individually invite people. Like, you talk about the extra mile. You talk about making sure that you have, you know, all of the resources needed to present yourself. So writing the email of what you're going to do and how you're going to benefit so-and-so's company so that you can get these opportunities. So it's kind of like music in the sense where like the way you get better is by practicing, is by doing it. And it seems like the social media, the influencing thing, it sounds like it's very similar is what I'm hearing from you. You get it ahead by doing it is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you have to. You can't. It's so multifaceted, and this goes back to the early conversation of being multifaceted. Right, where people just focus and zero in on one thing.
Right.
As a musician, and you have to diversify your profile.
Right.
Like they say at the bank, you have to diversify your profile. You can't just have a checking and a savings account. You have to invest in this and invest in this. But you got to diversify yourself as a musician. You can't just be a performer. You got to, there's different layers. You can put out packs. Right? If you're a guitar player, you can put out guitar licks. And you can sell those. If you're a piano player, you could do a piano pack or something, right? You can, if you're a teacher, you can do a piano course on something that you think that would sell. Right? You can, reach out to different producers and artists and produce their stuff. Like, there's so many tiers to music. There's no excuse.
It sounds like the work is there. It's for you to go out
there.
and do it.
So when people say, oh, there's nothing. Listen, music is... There's so much that you could do in music. You just have to be creative. Right?
And look at you, right? Yeah. Like paving a path that wasn't necessarily there. You talk about the instrumental path and like how that's just like non-existent, especially.
It was non-existent when I started in 2014.
Right.
But also, what I found was people were not very open-minded. Right. And people like what they like. I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just knew deep down that eventually people were going to they're going to catch on eventually, right? You just have to keep doing it, and they see that you keep doing it. And they're like, "Oh, she's still doing it. Okay, maybe I should."
It's time to join the program.
It's time to get with the program now. But I think one of my greatest accomplishments was getting on national radio.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've been putting out instrumental music since 2014, and in 2021. Of course, during the pandemic, I found like a lot of my successes come during the pandemic.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna hold you guys. Like, and this is not to negate the early success that I had from 2014 to 2020. But a lot of the trajectory of my career has happened in the last 3 to 4 years. And I got on national radio through The Block by CBC. It was a program that they started during the pandemic that showcased Canadian black artists. And I had a friend of mine told me about it. And at the time, I think I had released Late Arrival Remix. And I knew that it was radio ready because I submitted it for CBC Searchlight and made the top 100. And I submitted it and I said, hey, I have this song out. It came out in June and would love to get it played on the radio. They're like, oh my God, this song is amazing. We don't play instrumental music. So I get told this all the time by different radio stations. Oh, we don't play this style of music, or we don't play instrumental music on our program. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you guys go learn today. So I emailed them back and I said, hey, I don't know if you know this, but instrumental music, and at that point, instrumental music really was on the rise. I mean, look at stuff, right? There goes my alarm going off.
You're good.
Look at Robert Glassford. But also, like, he started off just straight instrumental, and then, of course, eventually he branched off and started collaborating with different artists and all that stuff. But I'm trying to be straight instrumental.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
And I emailed them back and I told them, I said, well, I hope you find a way to put this on your program because instrumental music is on the rise, right? Let me tell you something. These guys, they really surprised me because I went on social media and saw my name on their picture of myself on their page.
They just put it up?
They just put it up. They didn't tell me nothing. They didn't even respond to my email. And I was like, okay, cool. So I get a notification and I see my picture playing your song 7 p.m. tonight.
Okay, that's what's up.
But it wasn't just a one and done thing because I thought it was a one and done thing. They kept playing it.
Wow, amazing.
Kept playing it. And not only that, they took on one of my other songs.
Wow.
Played that, right? I released a project in 2022 called Self.
Yeah.
Got picked up by Fresh Finds Jazz on Spotify.
Amazing.
And because I was on that profile, guess who picked it up? NPR picked it up, put it on their playlist.
Amazing.
Then I had 3 songs on the NPR playlist.
Amazing.
So what's the next step? NPR Tiny Desk.
Right.
You're going to see it. You're going to see
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
Listen, you heard it here.
You're going to see it. You just
can't
put that
wait,
into the
man.
atmosphere. But
Listen,
again, this is a culmination of consistency. And I keep telling people consistency is key.
absolutely.
Consistency.
I tell my daughters, it's crazy. I literally tell my daughters and my son that all the time. Consistency is key. Yeah, sorry.
Consistency is key. You want those endorsements, you got to actually present yourself,
For real.
right? You have to be marketable. You have to show that you have some success and some visibility,
Right.
right? And then getting the endorsement is not just it's finished, right?
Right.
There's work you have to do. There's deliverables. You have to
Absolutely.
do certain things.
And you touched on it, right?
Yeah.
But maybe just for those who maybe didn't quite get that piece of it,
yeah.
maybe just dive in a little bit deeper. Like, what are some of those obligations? Because is it because the other part is you don't want to be in a situation where you're kind of biting off more than you can chew at the same time, right? It
Yeah.
sounds great. Oh yeah, endorsements and this and that, but like, is it manageable and is it something that you can do? Talk to us.
Well,
about that.
basically, when you get an endorsement, you're essentially affixing your name to that company. And you're showing that you're exclusively using that product. So
Wow, okay,
people like to confuse endorsements and sponsorships.
okay. Talk
They're
to us.
they're not one and the same. So endorsement equals
Did you have?
exclusivity.
I think you had
I
something.
do have it.
Okay,
It's on
okay.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
And sponsorship equals alignment.
Say that again,
So,
just so we got it.
Endorsement equals exclusivity.
Okay.
Sponsorship equals alignment.
I
Okay.
see.
So when you get a sponsorship, it's more or less, does that company align with what you're doing currently?
Gotcha.
So for example, if I have a concert, right?
Right.
And I'm looking for a brand to sponsor,
Right.
so give money or
Right.
help in some type of
Yes,
way to
right.
make that event a success. It's kind of a linear
Right.
transaction type
Yeah.
thing where, they'll, like, if they support you, they'll give you money to
Right.
support whatever you're doing.
Right.
But in exchange, they want promotion,
absolutely.
right? They want to see
Right.
their logo.
Right.
They want to be able to promote at the
Right.
event. So
Right.
it's kind of like that kind of
Two-way
exchange.
street, yep.
So there isn't this, I guess,
Permanent,
it's not like a permanent
yeah,
thing where you
yeah.
have to uphold the brand.
Right. Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
Versus having an endorsement,
Right.
you are essentially saying Desarae exclusively uses Yamaha.
Right.
So it's a bigger deal
Right.
where, it holds more weight.
And I
Yeah.
imagine I imagine there's some pros and some cons in the sense, right? Because and here's what I mean. Like, obviously if you're a corporation and your goal is to, make profit and that kind of thing, then obviously, you're only going to align yourself with people that you trust to represent your brand,
Yeah.
Positively. And
Exactly.
so obviously all of a sudden, if you're on social media acting all kind of crazy and saying all kind of stuff, all of a sudden that, like, I can imagine that may not
Exactly. So that's the other part of it too. Like, they're counting on you to uphold the brand,
be right.
but you still have to act correct
Right. Yeah.
on social media,
Yeah,
right? You still have to represent, just like how you represent yourself well, you have to
Right.
represent the brand well
Right,
as well
right,
too,
right,
because
right.
they're entrusting you with their products
Right.
and to sell their products,
Right.
right? So you still have to act correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. Come correct. be
Come correct,
Yup,
right? Because you don't want to lose no endorsement.
Yeah. Yeah. Over and especially over
over
foolishness.
foolishness.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't do that.
So like
Yeah.
you in that sense, like, I guess it's a trade off, right? On one hand, you're using, you said it perfectly. You said it's your social media presence is like your resume, and so you're upholding it. Maybe you have an account where you don't associate with your name, that you say what you want to say and do what you want to do, but maybe when it comes to who you present yourself and what you're doing,
Yeah.
you keep it, on
Keep it
par.
business.
Yeah, keep
right?
it business.
Like I said, it's your resume.
Yeah,
Keep it
and
business.
and there's a time and a place. If you want, if you want the Twitter burner account or whatever it is,
Or use close friends.
or use close friends, right? Like, not everything is for social media. That's the
right?
other
And
thing
you have
too.
your local small group of people on close friends, and you can say whatever
Yeah,
you gotta say
yeah.
on there because it's not public,
Got you.
right? So keep
Yeah,
keep the business public, but keep your other stuff.
I love
on
that.
close
I love
friends.
that. Very practical.
There's
right?
one thing I wanted to mention as well too that I didn't mention
Yeah, sure.
earlier on when it comes to your actual Instagram profile.
Got you.
I wanted to go back because I'm sure people probably have questions about this. content, audience, analytics. Analytics is the other one.
Okay, talk about
Yeah,
that.
I meant to mention this, but I want to mention it now. No, I get asked
Did
all
you
the
want-
time.
did you have a
Yeah,
slide you
so
want
there's
us to show
there's a
up on
couple
the
of
screen?
slides. If you go to the slide that has my profile and it has my social media account,
Okay, we'll get
and
it for the folks.
we'll get it.
Yeah, man.
so that they can take a look at it. Keep going.
I think we're coming close to it.
Oh, I think, yeah, right here. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah,
Okay.
we'll get that on the screen for the viewers just to see.
Yeah. So, social media. A lot of people ask, how are you getting followers, or how are you posting and getting all these views and all of that stuff, right? And I said, well, you have to look at your analytics.
Okay.
And people are like, well, what's that? Well, it's
Right.
your stats,
Right.
right? So it shows how many followers you have.
Right.
It shows your most popular countries, or the
Right.
countries that you're reaching, the top countries that you're reaching.
Got
It
you.
shows the age groups that you're
Got you.
reaching.
Right.
It shows you your most active times, active days of the week,
Interesting.
right? Now, these all factor into when the best time to post your content is,
Okay.
right? So if you want your content to reach a good amount of people, you have to know when to post. In addition to using your own analytics,
Yeah.
if you do your research and you go on Google,
Yeah.
you can get a general scope of when the best time to post is,
Got you. Yeah.
from a world perspective.
Got you. Got you.
And they'll give you times in Eastern Standard Time.
Interesting.
And it will give you a general scope of when the best time to post, when everybody across the world is posting.
Okay,
So
interesting.
you can use
Have
that.
you found any sweet spots, or is it? I know it's so subjective to your audience.
I mean, there's some articles that say like the best days to post are Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I believe.
Okay.
Sweet spots are normally between 3 and 6 p.m.
Okay.
But again, that's a general thing.
General
You
rule,
kind of,
okay.
if you have
Yeah.
to go deeper and go into your own
Yeah,
personal
try it, right,
analytics and see when the best day to post, when all of your followers are live, when the best day to post, and when the best time of day to post. And then also look at your age groups. And
Gotcha.
sometimes you might have to do some ads.
Right.
So you're gonna have to spend some money
Right,
on social
right.
media. I had to learn that too because I was doing it for free for a long time. Then I was
Right.
like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to spend some money.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
yeah,
spend
yeah,
some
yeah.
money, especially if you want to reach outside of.
Right.
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 If you take a look at my profile, that's there.
Awesome.
If you want to, before I even say this, the only way for you to access your analytics is if you have a business or a creator profile.
So y'all getting this? So you have to have a. You said a business
or a creator
or
profile.
a creator profile, and how is that something anyone can have? Or?
Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
if you go into your settings, it says you can change the type of account that you have.
Okay.
So when you first get Instagram, it's a personal page.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a business or a creator page, you have to go into your settings and change it.
Got you.
And you can actually link your business page to your Facebook
Okay.
page because
Right.
that's what I do.
Right.
So I have my Instagram business page is linked to Facebook.
Got you.
So if
It's
you
all
want,
one.
you can share whatever you share on Instagram. You can share it to your Facebook
Got you.
music,
Automatic.
whatever page you have, right?
Nice.
So this is the only way you're gonna be able to access your analytics.
Got it.
Okay, so you can see like what your popular countries are,
Nice.
what
Nice.
age group resonates with your content the most.
Right.
From these are my analytics I have posted, by the way.
And these are real, y'all. Like
These are real.
Thank you, Desarae. Again,
Yeah.
you're so forthcoming.
No
and,
problem.
yeah. Like,
If you go back to the slide before that has the 3.
yeah, we'll get that up for folks.
Yeah. So, yes, this one right here. So I just put the last 30 days, just the last month, so you
Yup,
can see.
yup.
Okay, obviously that following count is actually much higher
Yup.
because I took screenshots from
All
yesterday.
good. Yeah.
So it shows you how many followers I have there. It shows the overall growth,
Yup.
and it shows you how many people followed me and how many people unfollowed me. And of
right.
course, people are gonna unfollow you because
That's
sometimes
part of
people
the
just
game.
don't resonate with your
That's all
content,
right.
and that's okay.
Yup.
Not for everyone.
Yup.
It's all good. And then also beside there, it says the age range. So this is the age range for both genders, male and female.
Got you.
But you can break it down for men and
Right,
women.
right.
Now, because I'm a woman.
Right.
And I do what I do.
Yep.
I have a high male population.
Okay.
And it just
Okay.
comes with the territory, unfortunately. A lot of guys are on my page.
Right.
I'm just
Okay.
being honest. Now, obviously, I've dealt with some jealousy on that end where,
Right,
you know,
okay.
some guys are jealous, some women are jealous. It's like,
Okay.
how is she connecting with all these guys?
Right. Okay.
It comes with the
It comes
territory,
with it.
guys. I can't help it. Sorry.
I hear you.
So if you look at my gender, you can see the percentage
Right,
difference,
right,
right?
okay,
Where
that's
it's
what's up.
85% men and 14%
Interesting.
women.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
musician
Yeah.
is male dominated, so of course
Yeah,
I'm
makes
gonna
sense.
get more
Yeah.
attraction from the male side of it
Right,
versus the
right.
female side of it.
Got you.
If you look at my age range, the 25 to 34.
Yeah.
So I attract a lot
Yeah.
of, and that's
Yeah,
my
that's
age
your
range,
age range.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I attract a lot of people in that group. So
Yeah.
what I have done I've done targeted ads where
Right.
I've targeted that particular age group with my content.
Okay. So
Right.
so there's a science to this, is what you're saying.
There is.
Yeah. It's not just kind of just shoot at the wind.
Because people just post whatever,
Yeah.
and then wonder why their content is not reaching who it's supposed to be reaching. I'm like,
Right.
because you don't know your analytics.
Right.
So you
right,
have
right,
to
right.
really research and go through and see, like, okay, what age groups really resonate with my content. I have about 3 age groups there that
Got
really
you.
resonate
Right.
with my stuff. The younger crowd and
Right.
the age group after me.
And so when you're
Right.
looking at ads now, it's
Yeah.
like you have some data to kind
I
of go. You're not
do.
in the dark.
I do. And
you.
also, when you're trying to get these endorsements and sponsorships, this is something that you need to add into your pitch, your numbers,
Okay.
right? Your analytics, because they want to see, like, which age group,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
They want to know,
yeah.
who's resonating with her content.
Yeah.
Because they want to sell. They want to
Right,
sell their
right.
stuff to that particular age group.
So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
yeah. So going back to that example with
Yeah.
Yamaha, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I have X amount of followers. They tend to be from this age demographic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I find that I think I can really target this
Yeah.
group and so
Yeah.
it's all like coming all full
Yeah.
circle.
And believe it or not, when I got endorsed from Yamaha, and a lot of my videos, I've been sharing this Yamaha CK88.
Yeah.
And kid you not, most comments are like, "What board is that?"
Yeah.
Because they've never seen it before.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah, yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
because there's an interest."
Right.
Right?
Right.
What
right.
board is that? And I
Right.
tell them.
Right.
And I've gotten DMs like, "Hey, what can you tell me about this board?
That's
You know,
what's up.
I'm thinking about buying a new board.
For real.
What do you think about this board? What can you tell me about it?"
Yup, yup.
And the Yamaha CK88 is an amazing board. It's probably the lightest 88 key keyboard I've ever carried.
Wow.
Lighter than a
amazing.
lot of these studio
Yeah,
keyboards
yeah,
because
yeah.
listen, my gig board at one point was a Yamaha S90,
Yeah.
and that thing is
oh,
monstrous.
I know that thing. Yeah.
And they don't make them anymore.
Yup,
But
it's
that
heavy.
used to be my gig board.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Those things
And
are heavy.
when Yamaha came out with the CK88, I was in heaven. I picked up that thing and I'm like, what?
Got you.
It's light. Not only that, which keyboard do you have that has built-in speakers?
True. True.
Which keyboard
Ready
do you
to go.
have that has Bluetooth capabilities?
Got you. True.
Right?
Amazing features.
Which keyboard do you have where I don't have to go through a confusing menu to get to different sounds?
got you.
All the sounds are at the disposal.
Yup.
There's organ jaw boards. I mean, Yamaha's not really an organ
Yeah,
board, but
yeah,
it's there if
yeah,
you want to
yeah,
use
yeah.
it. And all the EQs are at your disposal.
Got you. So just the simplicity
Right?
layout.
So me being able to explain this to followers, I've actually had 3 people say, "Hey, I actually bought that."
Yeah. Amazing.
So
There you go.
this is what I'm saying when
Absolutely.
you show, they want to see that, oh, can she get sales?
Absolutely.
Right? I've had people
absolutely.
be like, they bought the 61 key version,
Absolutely.
and the
Yeah.
61 key version does the exact same thing. It's just
right,
smaller.
Just smaller. Amazing.
But people bought it.
Someone
right?
had a question.
Yeah.
This came in from one of the people that was coming in and just asked their question ahead.
Yeah.
They said they wanted to learn about content scheduling. Is that something you do a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found out, well, not recent, but maybe last year, I want to say, you can now schedule your content on Instagram now.
Okay.
You never used to be able to do
yeah,
that.
you needed
You would
another-
have to actually go through a content schedule like Sprout.
Right.
I never really got
Into that?
into
Okay.
that. For myself, what I did is I had my own schedule.
Okay.
I set my own schedule based off of my analytics.
Okay.
And I'd be like, okay, so if I have my 4-chord worship series, for
Yeah.
example, I tell myself, okay, I'm going to post 2 videos a week.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to post one on Monday at this time
Yep.
and one on Friday at this time.
Yep.
And that was my schedule.
Yep.
And I knew this was going to be my schedule moving forward.
Yeah, and you just locked in.
If that meant I needed to set alarms in my phone,
Yeah.
I had to do that.
Yeah.
Because
you
I
just
couldn't,
locked
I
in.
didn't really get with the whole Sprout Social and
Yeah.
this
Hootsuite,
content. But then when I
yeah.
found out that you can now schedule posts on Instagram, I took full advantage of that.
Okay.
So I
Got
can
you.
go in and set my settings and then be
Yup.
like, schedule this post, and I
Yup.
schedule it and just leave it.
And you know it's done.
Right? I love that. I love that I can do it, especially with my 4-chord worship series, because I batch record
Yeah.
everything.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
I'll take
yeah.
a day during the week, and if I know I have 8 videos I need to post for the month, I record all 8 videos in one sitting,
time.
and then I'll use another day and edit the videos and
This is
post
game,
them
y'all. This is game. So
and post them at all the different dates, because I have all
love
my
it.
dates and times, and I go into Instagram and I set everything, so I don't have to worry about it.
I mean, y'all, this is free game, y'all. This is free game. So sometimes there's no
Yeah.
excuse to your point, Desiree.
Absolutely. no
Sometimes it's
excuse.
like we see the consistency and we think, oh shoot, like how on earth are you finding every 3 o'clock to come get up? And you're like, no.
But it's
I'm
just-
sitting down one time.
But it's just like you said, like they don't see the meal being prepared.
Right.
You guys just see the finished product.
Right.
So it's like that picture with the mountain where, it's so smooth, but then you see everything
Yup,
else underneath.
Yup.
Right?
Oh, what's going on?
You guys, listen.
Yup.
Sometimes I'm up late.
Yeah.
But after a while, you can do things a lot quicker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Especially
yeah,
once
yeah.
you, I plan my content,
Got you.
right? So for my 4-chord worship series, for example, there's different keys that I choose to do.
Right.
I figure out what keys I want to do, and
Yep.
sometimes I sit at home and I vibe and I
Yep.
come, okay, I like this progression. Okay,
Yep.
write it,
Quick.
right, and record.
And I
Right,
like
and
that.
right.
Like sometimes doing it, because as you
Yeah.
said, if I have 8 videos to do it, maybe I just find one time I have an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, sit down, get it
Yeah.
done, and then schedule it out, and then that's it. I did my job. I'm
Yeah.
consistent. I'm
That's it.
posting. I'm
Yeah.
out there. So that's a good strategy.
But
'cause
not
I know-
only that,
yeah.
in addition to that, I have I do shows and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, I
yeah.
still have my educational
Yeah.
all that stuff, and I also have to post on TikTok, and
Right.
TikTok doesn't have scheduled posts.
Oh,
so I still
okay.
have to
You still got
remember-
more to go back.
And that's the thing with social media. There's so many platforms I
Yeah.
have to upkeep. Facebook
Yeah.
at this point, I don't care about Facebook.
Yeah.
It's between Instagram and TikTok and now YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, okay.
Because I finally knocked off the subscriber goal,
YouTube,
because
yeah,
I have
nice.
1,500 subscribers
Big up
now.
yourself,
So
big up
that's
yourself.
done, but now I have to get the watch hours.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
still have to remember to post on YouTube
Yeah,
Shorts. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
literally had to
super
program a alarm in my phone
Got you.
to help me remember to post on YouTube Shorts.
Amazing.
Because believe it or not, people ask me, "Do you post this on YouTube?" Because not everybody has Instagram,
True.
not everybody has Facebook, not everybody has TikTok.
YouTube, yeah.
Most people have YouTube.
Right.
So I have to make sure that I post
Stuff
on
there
Instagram,
too.
TikTok, and on YouTube Shorts.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Amazing, man. Yeah, like someone said online, a phenomenal workshop, lots of good information shared. Shout out to you, Desiree.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, man. If there's any other questions, y'all let us know. But yeah, I don't know if there's any other questions. I know we're kind of getting towards that time. Was there anything else that I know
Let me see.
it's cool, Desiree, because like I like how we did this today. I know
Yeah.
you came and we touched on some of the points that you really
Absolutely.
wanted to do, and I love
I think
this.
there might be some things that I want to,
Yeah,
already
if there's
talked
anything
about.
you really want to dig in on.
because I do have a few. I know people ask about brand deals.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
let's
Basically,
make sure.
brand deal is like a partnership between the individual and the brand,
Right.
right? They normally also call it a brand sponsorship.
Okay.
You'll hear that. You won't really hear brand deal.
Okay.
You'll hear brand sponsorship
Got you.
a lot. And then you'll have something called branded content.
Okay.
So you may have heard of that
Yeah.
terminology
Yeah. Okay.
flown around on social media. So basically, that's like different videos or different types of media
Okay.
that you and the brand develop together,
Oh, okay.
right? And then also you have brand integration.
Okay.
So if you go on social media, for example, and you see somebody have like a lifestyle post and they do like a shameless plug for a company,
Right.
right? That's a type of integration. So it's called an ad break.
Okay.
So if I'm doing like a
Yes,
lifestyle
right.
post and in my lifestyle post, I have a product from a company that I'm
Right.
endorsed by. I
Right.
do like a little ad break to kind of talk about
Got you.
that particular brand.
Got you.
So that's one way to kind of have branded content and to integrate your brand into your daily posts.
Got you.
You'll see a
And-
lot of hauls. A lot of people do hauls.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah, yeah.
shopping hauls.
Okay.
So you'll see a lot of influencers who are maybe endorsed by like Fashion Nova or Shein, right?
Got you,
And they
right.
have a video where they show people like, this is what I bought, right? And
Okay,
this
right.
is, this quality, and they talk about the quality of the products
Right.
and what products are good to buy, what
Right.
products are not good to buy.
Right.
So it's not just has to be about music,
Got you.
right?
There's
And if it
room
is
to
for
grow.
music, say you
Yeah.
bought a new type of gear. Like
Mm-hmm.
I did a post on a live studio mixer that I got from Yamaha, and I
Nice.
talked about it, and I
Yeah.
showed the process of how I set it up and
Right.
everything. But again, I have to keep within the 30 to 1 minute.
Right.
So
right, right.
there are ways to speed up your video.
Got you. Yeah.
And one thing you should do is talk in your videos. So you know
Interesting.
how you have captions
Yeah.
in your videos
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and they, like voiceovers
yeah.
type
Okay.
of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even though I recorded myself putting together this type of gear,
You're
I had a
talking.
voiceover
Got you.
explaining what I was doing.
Got you.
So
got you.
that's type of content you can do.
Got you.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask because like, with a lot of these deals where companies are, because I know you've been reaching out for a lot of these things,
Mhm.
and so like, typically is it like, hey, here's what we're asking you to do. We want you to create a video. Here's kind of what we're looking for. Here's what we're gonna do. So it's all kind of laid out. That's what I'm hearing as well.
Yeah, so I did a brand partnership with a company called McGroove.
Okay.
So it's kind of similar to Spotify, but not really. It's kind
Okay.
of, or actually, no, it's similar to Shazam.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, I had to talk a little bit about McGroove,
Yeah.
what they offer, all that, and I got paid
nice.
to do
okay.
it, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
there's that kind of
So there's
partnership
all
where it's
kinds
just like
of
a
different ones.
transactional
Yeah,
type
yeah,
thing
yeah.
where, a brand might reach out to you because they notice your presence on social media.
Right.
They'll come to you with a product that they have and they'll give you some things that they want you to talk about.
Right.
But it's up to you to do the creative portion of it. So
Got
they
it,
give you the
okay.
information and you find a way to present it
put
to
it
the
together.
audience
Okay.
that's creative.
Got you.
Right, and then they'll
Nice.
give you a payment
Right.
for that. So
Yeah.
I've done a couple of those things
Yeah,
as
nice,
well too.
nice. So there's
Yeah.
there's room to grow. Like it's not
Yeah.
just like I'm a musician. I'm stuck only talking about music or music company stuff.
Mhm.
It's like companies are always looking for ways to get in front of new audiences, and if you can
Yeah,
be effective in that, just based on your presence and
Mhm.
all of that, you have
Yeah.
a path. Yeah.
and this is a great way for musicians to have content. So if you got a new DAW,
Right.
you can actually show people like, how does this DAW work?
Right.
And
right,
maybe they might want to buy it,
Right.
right? Or maybe, somebody who already has that DAW, you might have talked about something that they didn't know about.
Right.
And
right.
so you're giving that information to them.
I love that.
Unboxings. Oh, I got a new product. I'm gonna
Right.
show you. Woohoo! Tutorials. Like
Yup,
there's
there's
so
all
many
kinds of
different.
stuff.
There's so many different things for that you can do for branded content and whatnot. And if
Awesome.
you want to actually work and connect with these brands, right? Again, you do your research.
Right.
Visit their website.
Right.
Fill out a contact form.
Awesome.
Go on LinkedIn.
Can we
look
get
up
this
that
up for
person.
folks? Because I know.
Yeah, that's the
yeah,
slide
I
there.
think people wanna.
Right.
Yeah, people want to see
So
this.
fill out the contact form. Go on LinkedIn to try and find out,
Interesting.
who is the person that's behind the social. Most it would be in marketing, so
Right.
you would find the marketing
Find the
manager. So
marketing
those
people.
keywords, like
Yeah.
even with the endorsements, like you would hit up somebody in artist relations
Mm,
if you want the musical endorsements.
right.
If you want to work with brands, you're looking for the marketing
Right.
person.
Got you. Y'all hearing this? Who to
So.
reach out to? So it's there. Go on their website. Find their contact. They usually have a contact us, right? Or is that
Yeah,
what
so
you're
you
saying?
can fill out the form.
Right.
If you can't find the information, because
Right.
9 times out of 10 they're gonna send you
Okay.
the person that you need to contact. So if
Gotcha.
you send them an email, say like, hey, I'm looking to do this, who's the best person to contact?
reach, right.
And they'll email you back and tell you should
Get in
reach out
touch
to
with
this person,
someone.
and then you can email that particular person.
Awesome. I
directly.
love that. So y'all, this is a step by step. It's all very applicable. This is all stuff. And you mentioned tag them, right? Like you put stuff out there, show, hey, I have your stuff. Like it's on my net page
Tag
already.
them and use the hashtags.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, this is wonderful, Desarae. I just wanted to get one other question that kind of came in. This was around interesting. So they're talking about promotion, marketing tactics. I know you talked about some of that already. But basically, like, how do you? All they put really was rollout strategy. So I imagine it's talking about like from a content standpoint.
Right.
Yeah, and like.
Or maybe for like, maybe from like an artist perspective.
Right.
Like in terms of music releases.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
So I'll speak to that because I'm also an artist as well too. So what I've done with, like, if I'm rolling out a single, for example, and also sending it out to get distributed and all this, so there's lots of steps. But if I'm putting out a single, for example, right? Before I even do any social media stuff, I need to submit it through a distributor.
Okay.
Right? So right now people are using DistroKid.
Right.
United Masters.
Right.
CD Baby.
Right.
TuneCore.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Usually when you're submitting your music, you want to submit at least 6 to 8 weeks in advance of your release. So for example, if my song is coming out on September 1st, I should have sent it by at least mid-July.
Y'all hear this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that gives you more of a chance to land on playlists.
Right.
Right. And then also you want to give yourself time for promotion as well too. So if you're gonna promote that single, you need to make sure to have your graphics ready.
Yeah.
Use Canva.
Yeah.
I have a graphic for Instagram posts. I have a graphic for Instagram story. I have a banner for when I post on Bandcamp, SoundCloud.
Right.
Take advantage of all of those music streaming
those
platforms that you
templates,
can use, right? And then what I also do, that's like one of the first things when I do an announcement, I announce by posting like a post on Instagram.
Right.
Just like a picture. And then I'll also post it in my story.
Got you.
And then maybe halfway through, I'll do like if I have like a music video for that, I'll do like a music video post.
Right.
That talks about the song. Or maybe I'll do another post where I go into details about the song, what it's about.
So there's a whole strategy. Like it's not just, oh, I made a song.
But it's a build up, right? So that's why I say submit your song early enough. So within that time frame, you're focusing on rollout. So you're posting, you're announcing the single, right? You're letting people know they can go to your profile and pre-save.
Maybe there's a snippet, Or
right. You can also post a snippet of that song. What you can do is if you're posting a photo, you can add music to your photo on Instagram, right? So if you have, but it probably wouldn't be available. So what you can do is use an editing service like CapCut and post a clip and attach it to that post. Because that's what I do.
Gotcha.
So if I know I'm releasing a new single, I'll make a video post. And I'll have a section of that song on the video and then post it.
Got it.
So it kind of gives people.
CapCut is like an editing software that
or you can use InShot. I was using InShot for a long time.
And it's all mobile based.
All mobile based.
Got you.
CapCut you can actually use on desktop. As well
Okay.
too. So in addition to using it on your phone, you can also use it.
Got you.
On your desktop.
Got you.
Right. So you want to have like different deliverables for your single. So graphics, in your IG story, have a clip. Have you talking about it or, doing an announcement of yourself, like recording yourself. Hey, what's going on? My name is Desarae D, and I've got my new single coming out on July 15th. Something like that.
Got you.
Right? You can it's going to be available on digital streaming platforms, or if you have a pre-order, you can pre-order it on June 1st or something.
Right. Got you. Well, listen, Desarae, I don't know. I know we're right sort of at 9 here. I don't know if there's any other questions here before we kind of wrap up. But go ahead.
I have one. To anybody that's out there, what's one thing that you would leave with them from an artist perspective and then also from the creator perspective?
Great question.
So, from the artist perspective, oh man, I think these are both going to go hand in hand with each other because they both work. consistency is a big, big, big thing. Okay. I know sometimes you're gonna have moments where you wake up in the morning, you're like, I don't feel like posting. But those who are serious about their careers will keep moving regardless of how they feel.
Right.
And there have been moments where I've gotten up in the morning and I don't feel like being a creator today, and I don't feel like being an artist today. But I have to look at how far I've come, right? And I was just like I was telling you earlier. In 2018, I almost quit. Like when you're on the edge of a cliff
Right.
and you're about to fall off, I almost quit music.
Wow.
That close to quitting, and I was in that moment where I'm like, I don't want to be a creator anymore. I don't want to be an artist. I don't want to do this. It's too hard.
Right.
Right? I'm not getting support. No one's supporting. No one cares. Right? But there's still that glimmer of hope
Right.
that I had to hold on to. And Jesus the Christ, our Lord and Savior, literally was like, what are you doing? Like, I gave you this gift and you're just going to give up? Yeah. So sometimes it takes a reality check
For real.
to really put you back in check and be like, what are you actually doing? There's a reason why you're doing this, or else you
Right.
wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Right? And you're going to have those moments, and it's okay to have those moments, but you still have to remember your why. Why are you doing this? You know, you're doing this not just for yourself, but you're doing this for other people. You're doing it for the
Yeah.
impact.
You talked about those
Yeah.
stories, right? The people that
Right.
are saying, "Hey, I'm getting back into this."
Yeah. And there's people who are counting on you.
Right.
Believe it or not, there's people who are counting on you to keep going.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they look at you and they're inspired by what you're doing, and it's making them want to
Got you.
reignite those passions of music that they've always wanted to do. And it's like they see you and they're like, oh my God, like you're so inspiring. You inspired me to do this. Imagine giving up.
Man, can you imagine?
You're
Well-
doing yourself a disservice by giving up just because life is hard.
Right.
Listen, nothing ever came easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And my journey has not been easy. I tell you that. I have worked for every single thing that I have. Nothing was handed to me. Nobody helped me. You know, I had management and stuff like that too. But even before I had management, I was on
Right.
my own
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
trenches,
yeah.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because people would gatekeep information. They would let me know things. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah.
Right? But I just knew deep down, like, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do
Yeah.
this. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like anything, success is not meant to be easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? And you have to go through the trenches. And sometimes you're going to have to do things when you don't feel like doing it.
Man. Well,
Yeah.
well, listen, Desarae. I think you've dropped so many gems in this session. I know even your slideshow. I know we've shown some slide, but I know we can figure out a way for folks who want
Yeah,
to sort
you
of
can
see
post
that.
it
or-
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
But in any case, man, thank you so much, Desarae, not only for being here and for this session, but thank you for all the work you've been doing in your career, the many lives inspired. We're just so grateful to have you on today. The only other thing I was going to add, just because I know we're sorry, I know we're coming to the end here, but something that's really, really helpful, I know, is feedback. And so whether or not folks are online, folks in the room here, just give us some feedback, man. And one thing that we always do, I'll throw it out there again today. Everyone knows what a rose is. Everyone remember a rose.
Yeah.
So I like a rose. It's a nice image, right? A big red flower. So there's usually, the big flowery part. And then there's a stem, maybe some thorns, right? And then, it has like some sort of roots in the ground, right? And so I like to think of it this way, y'all. Let us know. Drop us in the group chat. If you're here in person, let us know. What was the rose for you? What was like that nugget, that information where you're just like, man, like, yo, this was a rose like this. Man, you don't even know. Like, I'm running with this, right? What are those things? What are those things that just helped you to grow? Remember that rose like that has the stem, right? Like, man, this helped me to grow. I feel like I leveled up here. I feel like I'm better. And maybe there might be a thorn or two. Maybe it might be like, yo, shoot, y'all could have did this a little better. We want to improve as well. We want to, do what we can to help folks. So if you're here online, if you're here in person, let us know. Just we'd love to hear from you. What were the rose moments for you, if you had any? What were the stem moments? And maybe there's some things that we can do better, a thorn or so that we might be able to improve on. Y'all let us know. Um, and if not, we'll sort of call it a day, but it's all good, man. We love the fact that we were here. Desarae, thank you again for just sharing so openly, for being a part of this. Don't worry, we got it. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for your time, for your energy. We really, really appreciate you. And Desarae, how can people stay in touch with you? Because I know you mentioned you're online, you're on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how do people find you, find like everything Desarae? Where do we go?
Well, you can find me on social media at Desarae D Music. It's the same across all platforms.
Awesome.
And if you want to listen to my original music, type in Desarae D. You can just Google me at this point,
Listen,
and everything
big
will
up
come
yourself.
up.
Listen, y'all, that's some career goals right there, y'all. Get to the point where you're on Google search goals. You know what I'm saying? But no, thank y'all. Thank you, Desarae. And y'all, if this is your first time tuning into Soundcheck, man, thank you so much for tuning in. We are a nonprofit organization. Our goal is to help young people, help all the musicians out there improve their sound as musicians, but also as leaders in their community. And I know we can drop up some stuff on the topic of socials and everything. I will drop that up on the screen for folks that are looking to get in touch with us as well, and support. But thank you all so much for this wonderful, your time and your attention. We appreciate you, and thank you, Desarae. All right, y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.